Well, good morning, everybody. Live from Peoria, Arizona. It's your old pals, Ben and Woods. Let's get our heads right. Feeling number one, very lucky to be here this morning. It's such a nice day. It is such a beautiful morning out here in Peoria, and we are live on your radio. We're live on your Odyssey app. We're live on YouTube. You can watch the feed there as well. It's not the most flattering angle of me. I got to be honest with you. I'm gonna have to turn and suck it in a little bit, Benny, but listen, that's why I wore a vest, to mask the fat.
We've been here for some really crummy weather mornings. Wind, rain,
sleet, hail,
cold, like just
snow.
Brutally cold.
Yeah.
It is ideal conditions this morning. It is so nice out here today.
Hopefully a harbinger of things to come. Well, as
60 degrees.
Yeah, 60 degrees.
I'll take that.
I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Got everything all dialed in this morning. And we are out here on the patio of the Peoria Sports Complex. We've already seen some players rolling in. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, and napper extraordinaire, conversationalist extraordinaire, joins us as well. Good morning. Did you enjoy your drive with us to Arizona in the front seat yesterday?
I did enjoy my drive. Well, my ride. You said you had to drive. I offered to drive, but you said absolutely not. You're driving to Arizona.
When you're in a car with someone for 6 hours, I would have had more conversation with a hitchhiker that I picked up on the side of the road. Paulie, over under 9 words, he said, on the 6-hour drive.
Under. I'll take the under.
Doesn't that make me the ideal passenger?
No.
Chatting away the entire time.
Oh,
that's the last thing you want from someone in your car. You're listening to your music.
We made it to El Centro, and not even to El Centro, and he's asleep. And Woods just looks back at me, and I'm doing why am I not sitting
Why
in the
am
front?
I not in the front?
I have a small apartment in the back of this expedition, thanks to our beloved Manny Sedano Ford.
Thank you, Manny Sedano.
Ben, you could have just laid up in the back. You would have been perfectly fine. And then me and Woods could have talked, listened to music.
On the way back, I will sit in the back and fall asleep. And you guys can talk in the front all you want. Whatever.
Oh, God.
I had a nice drive. Other than the time we almost died.
I bet you did have a nice drive. Yeah, I thought, this will be nice. Get to catch up. We see each other on the show. But when you got 6 hours in a car with someone, you can really drill down and get to the root of some things, and you can open up. You can plot and plan and scheme for the future, but was not to be. Now, as we started our journey, everything was fine. The car, it's an expedition. It's beautiful, and we were cruising right along.
Before you get to the story, let's introduce Italian Paul as well.
Indeed.
Frank Marchese, who is back in the studio. Hey. Rarely do we have both Paul and Italian Paul
Two Italian
day, but we have them both with us today. And we would be remiss if we did not thank Frank for his hard work back in our Odyssey studios in San Diego. Thank you, Frank.
Hi, Frankie.
Good morning. I'm not important. Continue with the story.
You're very important.
So we are we're past Gila Bend.
Well,
correct.
So we drove and we stopped and got lunch at Mr. G's in Yuma, and it was fine. And got back in the car and then drove to Gila Bend and gassed up. And if you've ever made this trip, and I'm sure many, many, many of you have, there's 2 lanes on
the 85 from the 8 up to the 10.
You do that. You're good at this.
Yeah. So when you cut up from Gila Bend, there's 2 lanes going north,
25 minutes,
a big median, and then 2 lanes coming south the other way for about it's about a 35-minute jaunt from the 8 to the 10 as you're on your way up toward Peoria and the Phoenix area if you're going, the normal route from San Diego.
So I'm in the fast lane, and we're just cruising along. And we're actually, you got about an hour and a half left or whatever. And the music's loud, and we're having we're actually talking.
I'm awake
at this point. You're awake at that point, and we're chit-chatting. All of a sudden, guys, I look up, and I see every car in front of me go left, go right. Everyone's swerving out of the way, and I think
just a scramble.
And I look up. There's a semi-truck that's locking his wheels up, and I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I about to crash into?" Well, let me tell you guys, it was another vehicle on the wrong side of the highway coming towards us, directly towards us, in my lane. Stopped, didn't panic, just tapped on the brake a little bit and then just swerved over well out of the way. And my hands are shaking. Everyone's okay. We didn't yank, I didn't yank the wheel. We didn't lock up or anything like that. It was
No
very kind of calm.
Nice move into the slower lane.
Yep. No panic at all. But the weirdest freaking part, man, about it all was, so Friday night, you guys know I had a Seals game to work. So I was pretty beat. It's been a long week. Kids are sick, the whole thing. And drove down, did the game. It was a late starting game. It started at 8, which you had joked on the air, man, watch it go to overtime. Well, son of a bitch, it goes to overtime. And we end up winning the game, thank God. But I walk out of there at 11:20, 11:30. I mean, I was up at 3. It was a long-ass day. So I'm driving home, and I'm just not feeling great. I was overwhelmed with anxiety. Overwhelmed. And I'm driving home down the 5, and I go, man, I don't know what's the matter with me, but I had this panic that somebody was going to be drunk coming the wrong way on the freeway. So I go home. I can't sleep. I'm pretty wired from the game. Only got about probably 3 hours of sleep. I woke up in the morning. Hannah was in the garage working out, and I stumble out there in my underwear and said hello. And she goes, why aren't you sleeping? And I go, I couldn't. I said, I couldn't even drive home last night. I was such a wreck, the anxiety. She goes, what were you anxious about? I said, somebody coming the wrong way on the freeway. And she goes, what? And I go, it was an irrational fear, certainly, but my both hands were on the wheel the whole drive home, death gripped, just waiting for some idiot to come on the wrong way. And I just thinking about my kids and my family, and I just was a wreck, man. So the fact that it happened a couple of days later was bananas.
So not an irrational fear, but maybe the weirdest part is the sedan that was coming at us never seemed to realize they were on the wrong side of the road because they just kept going. As far as we could tell, they were going to make the entire drive from the 10 down to the 8 in Gila on the wrong side of the highway, and they were completely unperturbed by the amount of cars just constantly swerving off the road
and there was no
away from
intersection particularly close.
Not really.
They've been going for at least a couple miles. Yeah, they've been at least going a mile or so the wrong way and had no intention of turning around, pulling off maybe and just turning around and going with traffic for a little bit just to change it up.
Yeah.
Matthew in the chat says the 85 is known as the head-on highway.
Is that right?
Apparently that's a thing here in Arizona that you get drivers who, when they turn left to go south, you're supposed to cross the first intersection and then turn left on the second one, which is the southbound, but they turn left on the first one thinking, 2-lane highway. Yeah, I'll go on the right side. That's a one-way highway. And you're turning the wrong way on the one-way highway. So we saw that firsthand yesterday.
So that was a little bit creepy, right? So, but the fact that I had woken up and told Hannah about it the next day and then it happened was just, it was an eerie feeling. So apparently there's a guardian angel watching out for us. So I'm very thankful that we are here this morning. Now,
I'm very excited for the second part.
The second part of this story gets very interesting here. And I mean very interesting. So we show up to our Airbnb in Peoria, Arizona. As you guys know, if you've listened to the program for a while, we let our boss, Adam, book our very first hotel room out here when we just started. We didn't want to make any waves. So we said, sure, you book it. It was 47 miles from the complex. It was the world's biggest dump. Was
700 traffic signals between our hotel and the Peoria Sports Complex.
It was in the parking lot of a Waffle House and an auto parts store. It was a parking lot in auto parts, Waffle House, Roach Motel. We went in. I had feces on my curtains. Ben's room had a meth lab right outside. It was horrible. So we took the bull by the horns from then on, and we said we're going to do our own thing. We're going to book Peoria and everything else. Hang on one sec. Hey, is JoJo in there? Will you give him these? Thank you.
A couple of used golf clubs.
Yes. Love you, Ricky.
For our beloved JoJo Tarantino.
Ricky Huerta, who keeps all the guys healthy. So we took the bull by the horns on this one, and we've been booking Airbnbs ever since. We always have some fun.
There's been some good ones. There's been some okay ones. Creepy bedroom I had a couple of years ago.
You had the creepy bedroom, which was great.
Baby photograph.
Paulie and I were
really
great.
Weird.
We were great at that.
Last year I had the master suite with the giant bathtub, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
So we
it's about 7:00.
Yeah, pull in about 7, and we pull up to the front yard, and I go, well, this can't be it. This looks like a place where squatters live. So sure enough, we walk out. We go, all right. We go up. We fumble around trying to get in for 10 minutes. Finally get in. We got to change the code. So we get in and we walk in. We go, okay. All right. It's okay. It's kind of bright, kind of airy. There's some like fixtures missing off the walls and stuff, but
decent couches.
It's a fine house.
It's a fine house. There is NFL Blitz in there from 1999.
Last century.
By the way.
Last century's video games. That's fine.
No big deal. We're not there for that. We start walking through the house and scoping out the bedrooms. And Paulie notices,
the first bedroom I look into, I take a look in, I turn back down the hallway and I go, oh no. Check this out, guys.
All of the sheets and towels were piled up on the floors.
Stripped beds.
In each and every bedroom, which
used towels.
Which is the protocol when you check out of an Airbnb. Hey, no problem. Rip everything off and leave it in the pile. And our cleaning crew will come in. They'll wash everything. They'll get everything. Okay, great. We walk in. Nothing had been done. Not a damn thing.
Trash cans were full.
Trash cans are full.
Yeah, everything was as the last people left it.
And now,
likely yesterday morning.
By this time, it's around 7:30. We're laughing, but we're also starting to cry a little bit inside.
Woods has already started a load of laundry.
So my initial reaction was this. Well, we're going to have to we got to get this thing going. So I grab a pile of laundry, which is disgusting. Like, I don't know what that last family or whoever.
No, you don't.
I have they could have been shooting a porno there. I have no idea. So I pick it up. I'm disgusted thinking about it. So I pick it. I'm like, I had a workman's
Let's get started. Let's plug away.
Like attitude. I said, now,
this is going to take 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, just one load of washing and drying is going to take at least 2 hours just to get the first bed done. So we're looking at least 6 hours to get all of our beds made and ready to go to bed at what, like 2 a.m. when we got to get up at 5 a.m. for the show.
And not only that, we all had a buttload of work to do last night for today's show and getting everything dialed in. So I start a load. And I walk out, and Ben is just sitting on the couch, and he's on his phone. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm looking at hotels. It didn't even occur to me. And I go, you know what? All right, Paulie, call the guy. So Paulie calls the guy. He goes, oh, yeah, it's my fault, Paul. Oh, no kidding? It's your fault?
Really? I thought we did something wrong.
Are you sure it's your fault? What was his name? Paul?
Ron.
I think it's Ron. Ron, are you sure it's your fault? So Ron, then this is the best part. Ron says to us, I can get the cleaning people there in 2 hours. He goes, excuse me? Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from?
I mean, I'm impressed that there's a cleaning crew that will come out at 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday night.
From Tucson. They're going to drive up. So morning show brain. My brain starts going, and I go, 9:30 is when they'll get here. So we could work for a couple hours, do some laundry.
Then go somewhere while they're cleaning.
A late dinner.
So Paulie asked the guy, what does it usually take them to clean? He goes, about 2 hours. And I go, all right, I go, pack your stuff. I go, get your stuff. Everyone grab your stuff. So we loaded our stuff, and we were driving, looking for hotels. So then Fun Boy over here to my left, Ben Higgins, says to me, hey, I found a hotel for us. And I said, oh, well, what's the name of it? And he says, ooh, I like this. It's called the Hotel Serene. And I said, it sounds like an all-nude hotel. Okay, number one.
It had 5-star review on Yelp.
It had 5-star reviews on all-nude review hotels. Because I pull up Google it, the Hotel Serene, 2-star hotel, a rating of 3. And so I start reading the comments this morning laying in bed.
You're not going to find the Ritz in Peoria.
I wasn't looking for the Ritz. So I look at I'm reading comments from people that stayed there as early as last week. And they're like, there were other people's hair in the bed when I pulled the bed sheets down. I was like, I would have murdered him. So I said to the guys, I said, look, there's one place I know. We've all stayed there. It's going to be the most expensive, but it is the most convenient. And frankly, at this point, after a 6-hour drive,
it's 8:30
at night, I go, we're going to the Hampton Inn. So we went to the Hampton Inn. I walked in, and she's like, everything okay? I'm like, yes. I go, we're in a little bit of a quandary. I need 3 rooms. And she's like, let me see if I got it. I go, here's my credit card. put these on my credit card. The guy stayed in the car. I booked all the rooms. I got us dialed in. Now, here's the problem.
Oh boy.
Those expenses were not approved.
Hey.
Pre-approved. So there's a decent chance that I take a $900 bath on this deal. Now, I did get my points on my credit card and the Hilton miles. I took all of those, but I don't know that it's worth $900.
Now,
so today,
Ron did say
he
he would pick up our hotel room for the night.
He
for
said
our inconvenience.
He said hotel room.
And he was on the speakerphone in the car. He knew that there were 3 of us, but he said room, singular, not rooms.
He
plural.
didn't. Now, the all in, I mean, it's not a cheap hotel. It's all in with tax.
And he was going to give us half off for the first night at the Airbnb as well. Don't
Sweet
forget
guy.
about that.
Half off. I'll save you guys a half day. So again, all in, it was $308 a man. Tax, title, and license. $308.
$927.
It's $927.
Adam.
So I guess we will see what happens here in the future. But I can tell you right now, there's nowhere to go but up for the old Ben and Woods crew out here at spring training.
We are well rested, though.
We are.
We had a very short trip. You had waffles this morning,
hey,
which
guys,
you love.
Adam, Michael, if you're listening.
No breakfast charges.
No breakfast charges this morning. You know why? Because it was on the house, pal. That omelet that I ate is gurgling up a little bit, by the way. I had one bite of it.
Do you have the vanilla waffle or the red velvet waffle?
I had the vanilla waffle.
Vanilla waffle, very nice.
Was phenomenal. Worth the $308, by the way. Worth the $308.
Expensive waffle.
So we're off and running here.
Now, we're about to go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
It's going to give everybody a good 5, maybe 6 minutes from now. We'll be right back. In those 5 minutes, we have just posted to our YouTube channel the 2024 edition of Ben and Woods Cribs Peoria. And if you want to see what we saw seconds upon arriving,
there's a
into
little
the
bit of a bait
Airbnb.
and switch element to it on this one.
You
for
think
sure.
so?
Yeah,
Just a little bit. Just a little
There's
bit.
a little bit of a bait and switch.
That is live. We just tweeted out the link. It's
Yeah.
on our YouTube channel. Just search Ben and Woods. Jeff, thank you for the $1.
We are
sub.
now only $907 in arrears.
The $1
for the trip.
donation from Jeff. That's
Yep.
going to help.
Yep. Oh my God, man. So here we go. Excited to be here, though. I mean, you know, if it ends up costing me $900 to do this, that's fine.
Now we'll come back. We'll set the table. Benny will do that. But Caitlin does ask in the chat, when is Jake coming on? Jake Cronenworth is scheduled to appear here momentarily. He's one of the
that's right. One of the early guys.
arrivals. So he'll be
Yeah,
here.
the reason we're here, actually, we will have lots of Padres guests stopping by. We can't pinpoint anyone's exact time, so don't miss a second of Ben and Woods. We are live from the Peoria Sports Complex. We'll be right back on a Monday morning at spring training on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's get our first check of traffic this morning on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
We can just go late, can't we?
I was so busy playing NFL Blitz 99 last night, I didn't see you actually take a plunge into the backyard pool during our cribs video.
I think I got scabies from that pool. It was disgusting.
Normally we just set the menu for what's coming on today, but let's jump right into it. It's Ben and Woods live from Padres Spring Training in Peoria, Arizona. It's our second segment, and we are happy to be joined by Padres first baseman Jake Cronenworth is with us. Jake, it is great to see you out here at Spring Training. How you feeling? How's everything been so far?
Is the mic on? Yeah, there we go. Now we're ready.
Morning.
Morning!
Hey!
Been a long time.
Yeah.
No, it's warm out this year, which is good.
So nice.
It's so nice.
It was so cold and windy and yucky last year when we were out here.
Well, for them too. You know, you guys had to go out and play in it, but nobody feels terribly, for you guys. Mostly us. They feel bad for us. Well, number one, I had to start today by congratulating you on the Michigan Wolverines winning a national championship, much to my chagrin as a Notre Dame fan, and really the other fans of all football teams in the country. I don't know that anybody wanted to see
Everybody
that.
hates us.
It feels good, right?
It feels amazing. I
So-
was there.
Oh, yeah, you were there. Oh, you went to the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Where'd you sit?
Like right on the goal line, probably like row 25-ish.
It's pretty fun watching your team.
Now, who
win
you
a
were
title.
there with? There were some other players there too, right?
Well, Rich Hill was there.
Okay.
Snell, I saw Snell there.
Snell was there, yeah, I
He
saw
was in
him.
Washington gear, unfortunately.
Yeah, sucks for him.
But it was like a bunch of my buddies that I played with in college. There's probably like 20 of us, which was really cool.
Is that do you think that's your favorite sport other than baseball? Or you're a hockey guy too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like playing hockey. I love Michigan football.
Watching college football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's awesome, man. It's awesome to see you. I know that you've been doing the media rounds out here. Sammy Levitt's been keeping you very busy. And he's been talking. This has been my favorite part of spring training so far. Sammy Levitt talking about your off season and your reflection on last year and how it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. And the word that he keeps using is vulnerability. And I'm like, I can't wait to get in front of Jake and ask him what exactly kind of.
Hannah wishes you were more vulnerable as well, I think.
Hannah wishes I was way less vulnerable. She hates vulnerability. Trust me. No, but I listen, self-reflection's a tough thing to do sometimes. But for you, I know it didn't go the way you wanted. How would the offseason go and what did that entail?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, first thing I kind of took care of was getting the wrist all healed up and all that. And, that was good. But, I mean, just going into the off season, I'd had 3 previous good years, and I kind of had gone into each of those off seasons doing the same things I had always done because it was working.
That's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things when something works, if it works, don't
fix it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And I kind of went into this off season and really kind of broke everything down, looking at swing, what can I do better, what can I do better in the weight room, what can I do better on the field, offensively, defensively, even just from like a mindset approach, like mechanically and like how I breathe. There's a lot of things that I looked at and just making yourself open to new ideas and like, shoot, we have 2.5, 3 months to really try a lot of different things. And, like Sam said, I made myself vulnerable in those situations to learn and, pick the things that really worked for me.
Well, they say you can tell how a season's going to go by the very first spring training game.
Do they say that?
You did hit a home run,
yes.
so everything's going to be fine
Should be
this
fine.
year.
Don't
Alex
change a thing.
Vezia hates to see you coming, that's for sure. Anytime Jake Cronenworth steps to the plate, the guy has nightmares now, so congratulations on that. But, I mean, early results, obviously it doesn't matter what happens in spring, but how are you feeling, like, compared to how it started last year?
Yeah, a lot of it is just, I had a really good spring last year, but I also had not great hitting mechanics last year in spring training. So it's kind of, a lot of that was because I was on time last year and, I was hitting well. So it was the confidence piece, your kind of your mindset. This year, I feel really good. I feel like very strong, stable in the batter's box, like ready to go. And now it's just like everybody else in the clubhouse. It's just getting our timing back, seeing sliders at 93 and 100-mile-an-hour fastballs isn't the easiest thing to get back on time for.
Yeah, I mean it's absurd what you guys have to do, your job, and and have to do it at a high level every day. We're joined by Jake Cronenworth here on Ben and Woods this morning. It's been also pretty fun to watch you out there showing Xander Bogaerts the ropes at second base. How surprised were you by that revelation that happened early on in spring training? I'm sure you guys probably knew it was a possibility, but it's pretty cool to see him out there. And what have you been telling him so far? Because it's different, right? It's way different.
I mean, every position has their own, as I've told you guys in the past, has their own like intricate details that not each other position has. And there's little things that you can do to make the position easier and make it a lot, I guess, easier on yourself to go out there and just say, I'm just going out there to play. And when this happens, I'm doing it. So that's kind of how I viewed second base and the way I looked at it, and just giving them little tips to make it easy, man, because this game's already as hard as it is.
No doubt.
And, you know, if he can have, you know, a couple different things for each time there's a different situation in the game, like, oh, this ball's here, like this is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing, you know, just to make things easier on him. And you know, he's never played second base either,
which is crazy because, you know, the playing shortstop, you're coming towards first base. Everything, all your momentum is going that way, and that's what you want. Second base, you're stopping sometimes. You got to stop, reload, throw the ball there. You got to get it there accurately. Guys burning down the line. You know, can't really – nobody's going to try to take you out anymore, but they're bearing down on you pretty good, which is – you can see them bearing down on you from shortstop. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game. How's he done so far?
He's done great. I mean, shoot, it's only been – I don't even know what day it is today, but –
today is Monday. Today is Monday. Yeah.
It's been probably, a week?
Yeah.
No, he's doing great. I mean,
he's an athlete.
He's an athlete. He's a baseball player. Obviously, he's a shortstop. You know, we have 4 shortstops on the infield, and it seems like each guy has gone to a new position and done fairly well.
Yeah.
It's just learning. Like, you know, it's no matter what point you're at in your career, there's always something new you can learn in baseball.
Talking to Jake Cronenworth here on Ben and Woods, and you were really a trendsetter because you were a shortstop. They moved you to second, then first, then they moved Ha-Seong Kim from short to second, then they moved Tatis from short to right, and then Bogaerts from short to second, Jackson Merrill from short
I was
to
a pitcher
left.
Too. Don't forget that.
You were a pitcher too. That's right.
Yeah.
Is a position change? Some organizations will say, hey, we don't want to move anybody off their position. Padres have been pretty open with it. As a professional, as a big leaguer, do you feel like it's okay to be making position change? I mean, Tatis handled it really well. Jackson seems to be doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just knowing that it's happening so you can prepare for the season. You know, it's whatever line of work you're in, if you know something's coming and you can prepare for it, it's going to be a lot easier to do. That's kind of how I view it. You know, I've moved around my entire career. I don't think I've ever come into a spring training really knowing where I'm playing, so I'm used to it. Yeah, it's just kind of how it is. It's baseball.
Yeah, no question. Talking to Jake Cronenworth here on Ben and Woods this morning. So last year, I can remember sitting out here with the kind of the like nervous, tingly excitement of like, okay, this lineup is going to be fearsome, and we spent all this money and we did this, and obviously it didn't work out. The vibe this year, though, does seem a little bit more, I don't want to say relaxed. I think everyone looks really focused, and it feels like kind of there's a weight off, though. Like getting that done last year, getting that out of the way, you turn the page, and now back to the underdog role, which I think a lot of guys thrive in.
Yeah, I think, you know, the biggest thing is, do you want to say hi, Manny?
Hi, Manny. Manny
will get his turn,
that's
but
free,
he's got a little
You guys are too much.
father to be present.
What up, crew?
How you doing?
Morning.
Oh, you guys are live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
live,
live.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to say hi?
Yeah, say hi to the thousands watching back at home.
That's right.
We'll catch you later,
We'll
man.
get you out here.
No,
You're welcome.
Thank you. You bet.
I think the biggest thing was there's a ton of excitement and, you know, all the stuff around last season. You know, I think as Sam, I was telling that, you know, looking back on last year and like we get all these new players and we have this team and, you know, we get to spring training and nobody's here because everybody's at the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
And there's guys in Miami, there's guys in Japan, there's guys in Taiwan. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, man, we got this awesome team. Nobody's here. That was the one thing that stunk was we never had the opportunity to really get together as a group. Some of those teams went fairly far. A couple of the teams, didn't go far, but it still wasn't until March that everybody was here as a group. And then 2 weeks later, the season starts.
I want to ask you about Jackson Merrill a little bit. We saw him again this morning, ran into him when we were here at Fantasy Camp. There is a confidence there that I don't know if it's earned
Jackson
yet.
Merrill was at Fantasy Camp?
Not
He-
fantasy.
oh.
Camp.
Yeah, he was here. He was working. He was working
working.
out while these guys were playing. But he
They
was here.
wanted, they wanted to get him some extra
Yeah.
work.
There's a confidence there that for a guy who hasn't played a day in the big leagues, I don't know if it's earned or not, but you feel that from him. How confident
our
he is.
lockers are next to each other, and the guy works his butt off.
Yeah.
And he's prepared. And
He was at fantasy camp, so
he
was working.
you guys were the ones that were working with him in the cage.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like this now. We know this.
He was
He's
actually.
got Woods' unnatural confidence
We
for
were-
no reason whatsoever.
We were in the cages, all of the gross, overweight fantasy
Yes.
campers. We were in there hitting. It's embarrassing.
Right over there.
He walks in and he's just sitting at the end of the cage, and he's like, bat between his knees, he's just waiting. And somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to get some hacks?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for a cage to open up." Oh, God, get out of here! Let this guy hit, man. But he's another guy too that is most likely going to be moving positions. But again, an athlete that can play anywhere on the field. So far, so good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, our lockers are next to each other, and he's confident. He prepares well. He knows the game. He's a smart player. He's still really young.
Yep.
I didn't even know how young he was.
20, right?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. No, but he's a great kid. He's respectful. He does all the things the right way. And, the way he carries himself is, the way you kind of present yourself on the field. And you kind of see it with the way he plays. It's great.
It's awesome, man. Well, we'll let you get going, get your work in. We really appreciate you as usual, and we're always rooting for you.
Thanks, boys.
Awesome, man.
Jay
Good to see you.
Cronenworth, first up, great way to lead off our
Yeah.
Padres coverage here at spring training. We're going to be here today through Wednesday, so we'll have lots of different players stopping by, managers, coaches. Do not miss it. We'll take a time out here. We'll come back. We should have some more players cycling in, so do not go anywhere. Ben and Woods back after this on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Once again to Jay Cronenworth. Just joined us live, our first guest from Padres Spring Training. It's Ben and Woods live in Peoria, Arizona. We're working on some other things. Hopefully some other players will be coming up in the next 30, 45 minutes. Let's check traffic, though. And Padres did get their first win of spring training yesterday. We'll get to that coming up after a check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So all the pessimists out there who are worried that the Padres were going to go 0-187 between the spring training season and the regular season, you can rest easy. They got their first win of the Cactus League yesterday, 7-0 over the Chicago Cubs over at Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona. We got to listen to some of Jesse and Tony on the drive out.
Well, they sounded...
We hit the mountains, but they sounded great.
They sounded
as always.
great. The the vibe was very strong in the booth, and those guys mid-season form already.
We were listening early as Jackson Merrill had, I guess, his breakout game of the spring. 2 for 2 with a walk, 2 runs batted in, a run scored, doubled and scored to give the Padres their first lead of the Cactus League early in the game. Jose Azocar had a couple of hits, including a solo home run. Jacob Marcy had a couple of doubles as well. So, the outfield, the one that all the question marks are surrounding going into spring training, looked awfully good yesterday. I think Merrill was actually DHing, but
he was.
Guys who are candidates for the outfield had absolute fantastic performances yesterday. And, of course, they shut out the Cubs on 3 hits. Randy Vasquez pitched his first 2 innings in a Padres uniform in the spring, worked around a couple of walks in the first, but got out of that without any runs. We saw a couple of the top prospects in Drew Thorpe pitched an inning. Adam Mazer pitched a scoreless inning. It was just, a solid all-around performance after their 3 losses to start the spring against the Dodgers and Brewers.
Yeah, one of the first guys in camp this morning was Jackson Merrill. He walked in and said hello, and we'd run into Jackson a couple times before, and I said to him, hey, how you doing, man? Getting locked in? And he looked at me and goes, been locked in. And I said, all right, you got me, man. I'm all in.
He had some quotes yesterday that struck me as remarkable for a 20-year-old who was trying to make the big leagues for the first time. Maybe it's good to not know what you don't know.
Yeah, of course.
But, he talked about how he says, I own the at-bat. When I'm up there, I know these guys are all good.
They're all good.
They're tough to face, but it's nothing I haven't seen before. Everyone throws hard, and when I'm up there, I feel like I'm in control of the at-bat. And then he goes, my bat to ball is very, very impressive. I mean, the guy does not lack for confidence at all. And, at some point, you're going to run into a slump. I mean, it's the major leagues. These pitchers are so good. But I love where his head is at right now as a 20-year-old. He said, I would sleep here if I could. I love being at spring training. I love being at camp. We've seen it firsthand. He's been here when he doesn't have to be here. The guy lives at this complex in the off season. He's here first thing in the morning. The guy absolutely loves being a baseball player. He is putting in all the work possible to make it a very tough decision for the San Diego Padres, who I would think at this point are probably leaning toward having him on the opening day roster and probably being the starting left fielder. If we're being honest at this point, barring any surprising acquisitions between now and opening day, the front runner to start in left field in the opening day lineup in Korea in 3 weeks is going to be Jackson Merrill. He's done nothing to tell us that he's not ready for the job at this point, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that coupled with the fact that there just aren't any other options, really. That's a
big part of it.
That's a big one. And, Profar coming back is great. But as, we've talked about since they re-signed Pro, I don't think the move was ever to sign Jurickson Profar to be your starting left fielder, Ben. And he's going to be a really nice guy coming off the bench, certainly. And a guy that can play multiple positions and a guy that can, switch hit and a guy that can play some first if you need it. A guy can play some outfield. So he's a valuable piece. But he's not a guy that you probably want to have out there every single day.
I think the more impressive that he looks, though, does it change A.J. Preller's strategy? Because I firmly believe there's something coming. There's either another free agent or 2 coming in or a trade that's going to be made. But if you're confident in Jackson Merrill that he's going to be out there on an everyday basis, I'm not saying you don't need another outfielder, but maybe you devote more resources to another starting pitcher as opposed to filling what you thought was a desperate need in the outfield that looks a little less desperate after the first couple of weeks of spring training based on what you've seen from Jackson Merrill.
And again, we can't say out of one side of our mouths spring training results don't really matter. The scores of the game, because they don't. The scores of the game don't matter. What they're evaluating, though, goes beyond a box score. It does. It goes beyond, well, I got 2 hits today. Those 2 hits, you could have flared one into left field. I mean, they're looking for a guy that's going to be able to make that jump. Now, what's going to happen to Jackson Merrill is what happens to all guys that comes up. He's going to struggle. It is inevitable. It's not a matter of will he struggle? The answer is yes. He undoubtedly will. He could come out gangbusters. Then he could hit a skid where he doesn't get a hit for 40 ABs. It happens all the time. It happens to the best of them. So can he handle that? They're looking for that kind of stuff.
And what Jake told us, that's one of the things they're looking for. It has nothing to do with the results in the games or even in the batting cage or how he looks in left field, but how is he carrying himself? And as Jake said, he's respectful, he's responsible, he's doing things the right way, the way a big leaguer should do them, even at 20 years old. Jake said, I forget how young he is. He doesn't seem like a 20-year-old, a guy who's not even legally allowed to have a beer yet. And he's preparing as though he's going to be the starting everyday left fielder for the San Diego Padres in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, this is a valid question by our pal Satan's Blowfish. He says he's going to hold up against quality starting pitching and high leverage relief pitching. The answer to that question is almost certainly not. I mean, until he does. How will he handle when he does it, when he's not hitting well? Can he contribute in other ways? I mean, it's going to be a struggle, just like it was for every single player.
Jurickson's not going to hold up against the top starting pitchers and the high leverage relievers. Jacob Marcy's not. Whoever they signed at this point that's still available, Michael A. Taylor, they're not going to blow your doors off with how they perform against top pitchers in the league. But you know what Jackson Merrill can do? He can get the bat to the ball.
Yeah.
We saw him go the other way a lot. He can flip his bat out. He can make contact. It doesn't look like he's just going to be a strikeout machine up there, even against top pitchers. Yeah. Will he hit home runs off of the best all the time? No one does.
Yeah.
No one does in Major League Baseball. It's how you handle that, pick your spots, and it looks like he understands the at-bats and how to approach them and how to attack them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him progress. And remember, I mean, I know that we're all, after last year, it was, playoffs or bust. And I think the expectations have to remain the same. And I think it's important that he knows those expectations. And I'm sure he does. And I'm sure guys like Manny and Xander and Jake and those guys are telling him, listen, this is not, while it may look like a transition year and the media is calling it a transition year, make no mistake about it. There's still a ton of talent on this team. This team needs to make the playoffs.
A couple other notes over the weekend. Manny Machado made his debut on Saturday. As the designated hitter, doubled in his first at-bat of the spring. He looks good as we saw him walking in a few minutes ago. Padres lost to the Brewers on Saturday, 11-7. Some struggles from Pedro Avila and Robert Suarez in that game. That, again, first spring outing, you're not looking necessarily at results, and it's not that big of a deal, but certainly something to keep an eye on, with Avila being one of the guys who was competing for those last 2 spots in the starting rotation. Did have a nice inning from Jairo Iriarte in that game on Saturday. Pitched a 1-2-3 very quick frame and impressed in his first start. I don't know that he's seriously being considered for one of those 2 spots, but Padres and Mike Shildt have been pretty open about saying anyone who's here is basically competing, unless it's Ethan Salas at 17 years old. Most of the guys who are in camp are competing for some sort of potential job in camp. They're not just roster fillers. They're not just biding their time until they get sent down to the minor leagues. If they look good, even if it's a guy like Jairo Iriarte, there's a chance they could make the opening day rotation.
There's been a couple of guys that have looked outstanding so far. Estrada's another one. He's looked great in his outing. So there's a lot of really, really high ceilings for a lot of the relievers and maybe potential starters as well. We happened to catch Drew Thorpe's first outing as a Padre yesterday. Now, I went back later and watched a little video of it and saw his changeup that Jesse and Tony were raving about, and it is no joke. I mean, it is no joke. And he's probably a year or 2 away, but I mean, we said that about a lot of these guys. There's
Drew Thorpe was the top minor league pitcher in
Yeah.
all of baseball last year with the New York Yankees.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Mostly at single A, but his double A numbers were terrific at the end of the year. Was voted the minor league pitcher of the year in all of baseball. I mean, it's not crazy to think that he can be ready to take the jump this year, maybe even early this year.
100%.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So we will see how it all shakes out. Look at that. Spring training Sammy's over here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? We got a couple minutes here. We have 1 minute.
Did have our first injury of the spring reported as well. Some back spasms for Yuki Matsui, who was supposed to go yesterday. They held him out. Hopefully just extra caution at this point early in the spring. But that's a little update on what happened this weekend. Sammy, how have you been?
I'm doing great.
Tired
doing great. I hit a little wall yesterday.
I bet you did.
I haven't been eating nearly as well, so that's part of it. You got to keep up the nutrition and the sleep, and I was not. But I'm doing well. A little cloudy this morning, but
It's
perfectly
perfect.
pleasant.
Did you hear our story this morning? How we've already spent
Yeah.
more money in one day than you have in your 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm sure they're totally going to sign off on it, too.
I have two thoughts. Number one, I think the hotel that I was at last year has been renamed the Hotel Serene.
Oh, okay.
Because the hair on the pillow sounds
That's
just
familiar.
about right.
You experienced that?
And I would also say that in no way, shape, or form should you have to pay for the first night there.
100%. 100%.
You've got to battle that.
No, we do. We don't. Adam does.
Is that an Adam Klug
That's
thing?
an Adam Klug thing.
That's ridiculous.
It was absurd. Man.
Odyssey's lawyer. We have a team of lawyers who are on it, I'm sure.
We do.
Back in Odyssey
First order of
headquarters,
priority.
somewhere, wherever our
The
Odyssey
Ben and Wood
headquarters
stay in
are.
Peoria,
The
Arizona.
legal team can get on this and make sure we're fully reimbursed and compensated, Woods, for your extra credit card payments.
There's
last
a good
night.
chance that they next year say, you know what, we're not sending you guys anymore. That's it. That's
Let's
enough.
enjoy ourselves this
Well,
year.
yeah, we're going to live it up this
I always
year.
worry about that. Like, they're not going to let us come back if we're not careful. So
I know.
Who'd you have
Sammy's
on
always
so far?
careful.
Just
We had
Cronenworth.
just Jake so far. But hopefully we've got someone else coming out here for the top of the hour. Why don't we take a break?
Yep.
Top of the hour. We'll see if we can get another player coming out here at 8 o'clock. Sammy, we'll catch up with you, obviously, over the next couple of days. But good to see you. Sam Levitt. It's Padres Spring Training 2024 live from Peoria, Arizona. Ben and Woods will be back. Hour number 2 coming up next. We'll get some of our regular features in. They may be at different times, our games and stuff, just based on who's coming out. So just stand by, stay with us. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, Ben and Woods back live from the Peoria Sports Complex, Peoria, Arizona. Padres spring training. We're going to be here now through Wednesday morning. Already talked to Jake Cronenworth. Paulie's going to go back into the Padres clubhouse, which is open for the next half hour or so, see if he can pull someone else out here. There is some, at least unconfirmed reports, Woods, that Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, is here this morning. Going to be doing his annual address, his tour of the, like we do, our tour of the training camps, our Tier 1 tour. He's doing his Tier 1 tour of actual spring training camps and talking to the players on one of those like Q&A sessions, like ask the commissioner anything.
Oh my
sort
God.
of sessions with the Padres players, probably going over and talking to the Mariners as well. Two birds with one stone, as it were. I have not seen Rob Manfred, but yeah, the report is that he is around here this morning. Mind your P's and Q's.
I mean, I can't. If
You're gonna boo if you see him.
well,
aren't
if we
you?
get a chance to interview him, like, yeah, I have to just hammer him. I do. I was reading a piece this morning. Actually, I got up super early as usual and was laying in my very expensive bed at the Hampton Inn. My one night stay over there, Ben. Very plush, actually.
Which bed did you choose? Did you have
it's a
two?
good
I had
question.
two.
I had two. I was on. If you walk in, it was the first one.
Really? I was
Yeah.
on the second one, more by the window.
Okay, no, I put my suitcase on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then because I like to, when I lay, I want to have my, like I am at home, everything's to my right.
Ah,
So that's how I
makes
roll.
sense.
So I was laying there this morning. I opened up The Athletic, and I was reading the latest piece by Evan Drellick, who was talking about, is he really going to walk away from the game in 2029? We're still a couple of years away. And it's a really good piece. You guys should check it if you are so inclined. But he was talking about, some potential names to replace him, was talking about how
For Theo Epstein, is
I have
one of the
not heard that.
names.
I didn't see that one in there, actually.
I not in that
if
piece,
it was
but
in there,
I
I
did.
missed it.
I heard that one mentioned at least by some baseball people. Now,
Sure.
who you want to be commissioner
Well,
and who
so-
actually ends up being commissioner,
So,
totally different things.
yes, if it was my vote, it would be Joey Votto.
Yeah.
But to have a guy in there that actually loves baseball, the owners aren't going to sign off on it. The owners want a guy like Rob Manfred, and they want an owner, or they want a commissioner that will line their pockets as best as he can and do everything to favor them,
Which is not always in the best interest of fans or the game sometimes.
or the players.
Yeah, what's
or
happening
the
with
players.
what's happening with the Oakland A's is not in the best interest of fans or baseball, but it helps maybe line the pocket of the owner, John Fisher.
Correct.
And Rob Manfred has greased the wheels to help him make that happen. Not in the best interest of baseball, though.
No, not even close. And the owners really like they like you said, they want a guy that's going to help line their pockets. The
But
players
Goodell does the same thing.
now, the players would like a guy like Theo Epstein, or they would like a guy like Joey Votto. They would like somebody that actually cares about the fabric of the game. But let's not kid ourselves. The players also want to make as much money as they can make, too.
True.
They do. And you're seeing now.
No one's really advocating for the fans here anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly
Yeah,
right.
I've heard from 30 years ago, Bob Costas would be a great commissioner of baseball. That's never going to happen. And as much as you respect Bob Costas and as much as he may be a great steward for the game, he would actually probably have the interest of fans in mind. And no one in baseball actually wants a commissioner who is looking out for the fans. They want people who are looking out for the owners, then the players, and fans are somewhere way down the list when it comes to the commissioner's priorities.
Yeah, here it is. The next commissioner. 4 questions loom over process to replace Rob Manfred. Should we even be talking about this? Is January 2029 really the end for Manfred? There's, listen, somebody's going to have to take them through expansion in the next couple of years. That's been something that's been on the table. But there's a couple names mentioned in there. But yeah, they need somebody that works for both sides, and that's just not going to happen. No commissioner of any league is going to be able to actually work for both sides in their interests. So I would expect, and Evan Drellick expects the same thing, Ben. We're staring down the barrel of another lockout in 2 years. I think
Yeah, it
26,
was a
27.
short deal that they signed.
Yeah, so that is something that, and again, what happens when that happens in baseball? Everything slides backwards again. You got to rebuild the fan base, et cetera, et cetera. So it is it's quite a conundrum right now, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Joe Musgrove, what's up, buddy?
Joe is
How you
here.
doing, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Joe. We'll talk to you at some point when you come back.
Yeah.
Kyle Higashioka is going to be stopping by, Paulie said, in just a minute or two. So we'll stall for a second until new Padres catcher Kyle Higashioka comes on the scene. Had some baseball news, obviously, over the weekend. I don't think it's been officially announced yet, but obviously the biggest move is Cody Bellinger returning to the Chicago Cubs
Say that's pretty big.
on a 3-year deal, $80 million, but essentially 3 one-year deals with opt-outs, starting with $30 million this year, and then he can go right back to free agency. But clearly the hope of landing, a 9-figure deal, or maybe a $200 million deal, the target that Scott Boras set at the beginning of spring training, did not happen for Cody Bellinger, and he went back on a fairly affordable, team-friendly, at least, $30 million is a lot of money, but 1 year, not the kind of guarantee I'm sure he was looking for in free agency.
So with that opt-out, so he's going to make $30 million this year.
Correct.
Then if he opts out, it's a player option?
It's a player option, so he can become a free agent, or he can go back for another $30 million next year in 2025. And then after that, he can opt one more time out or come back for $20 million in 2026.
And by the time that deal's over, I think he'll only be, 31 years old? So he can still set himself up,
If he has a good year this year, he'll go into free agency again. He'll opt out for sure. If he gets hurt, has a bad year, he can try it again at $30 million. And then, the tougher decision would come the next year where you're taking a pay cut. Do you hit free agency, or do you just to accept the $20 million? But for the Cubs, obviously that changes the equation, especially in a very
100%.
winnable division. Getting him back is a huge move for Jed Hoyer.
Many are saying getting embarrassed by the Padres yesterday is what actually spurred them to go out and make that decision. I actually think it happened the night before.
But, it's a big move for them. Obviously, he's a name that would have looked really good here in terms of the Padres being an outfielder, a left-handed hitter. But even at 1 year, $30 million with an option, not someone that, Padres could have kept under that luxury tax threshold. So, if you're looking for signs that the Padres are definitely trying to remain under the luxury tax, the fact that they weren't in on a fairly affordable conversation with Cody Bellinger tells you right there, what's part of the strategy.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Saw that.
Walked by.
He's hard to miss, actually.
That aura.
Yeah. It's hard to miss when he walks in.
How you doing?
He's definitely he's
talking to our beloved Tom Seidler.
He is over there, yeah. And we'll hopefully catch up with Toddy as well before our 3 days are up.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to sit down with him last year. Looking forward to chatting with him this year.
Well, remember last year he was going into still on the suspension. He was here, but they were kind of keeping him a little away from the spotlight.
You got to ease him back in.
Yeah, this year it's full go, and everything is good to go. So let's see. Why don't we take a quick timeout?
Yeah,
let's take a quick timeout, and then hopefully when Paulie comes back, expecting Kyle Higashioka to join us here in a couple of minutes. So let's check traffic, and then we'll be back with more live from Padres spring training in Peoria right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Do not go away. Paulie's working hard behind the scenes, juggling around. He said Kyle Higashioka is training room, not feeling well, but Jose Azocar, Sugar, may be coming out here in just a second. I want to remind everybody, of course, spring training is underway. That's why we're here. And for the latest Padres news, you can try listening to the Chapters feature from the show every day. Each topic we cover is broken out, so you can find what matters to you most. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app. All right, I see Sugar walking by. So yesterday, had a very nice game.
Very
had
nice.
A couple of hits, double, and the first home run of the spring. He absolutely
Murdered it.
mashed that one. Went down and went down low, got that pitch, and absolutely crushed it. And joining us right now here live from Padres spring training is Padres outfielder Jose Azocar. Sugar, it's great to finally have you on with Ben and Woods. It's good to see you, man.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to be in a spring training.
How has your spring training gone so far? You look good. You look big, strong.
Yeah, I put a little more muscle in my body, and then I've been working since I finished the season. I get a good impression like the last month, so I get that feel, and I was like, oh, I need it for next year.
How long? What's your lag time? So the season ends. You take a couple weeks off, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What you do?
No, I normally go home and spend that time with my daughter a little bit, and then go right to work because I'm going back to Venezuela and play like winter ball for like a month, and then came back, start working again, and then get to spring time.
Yeah.
Jose, obviously your role with the Padres so far has been, hey, be ready when they need you, backup outfielder, get in there, play some defense. But now this spring is a little different. Obviously, there's some open spots out there. Do you feel like this is your opportunity to say, hey, I'm more than just a fourth outfielder? I can start here.
100%. I think we have I have opportunity to play every day after the trade we get. So I'm ready. I'm just ready to they give me opportunity. So jumping in the field every day, do my best, and then try to make the team get better.
Is that annoying when you see a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. who's played infield his whole life, and then he goes out to that?
I mean, yeah, 100%. It's like you are a super athlete. So you're coming from the infield whole life, and then go to outfield, get a platinum glove.
Yeah,
okay, and I've been playing it since I was like 5 years old, and I didn't get one. Yeah.
It's funny. He said they asked him too because they said, you played up the middle your whole life. What about center field? And Fernando said, actually, right field at Petco Park is a little bit different, and I feel like I'm better out there. Can you explain to us what makes right field and center field different? I know center field's tough. The ball's coming right at you. You got to get good read. You got to have a good first step, all that stuff. But what's different about right field at Petco?
I mean, Petco Park, because we have the beach and the right center field is a big gap in there, and then right field need to cover a lot of ground. And at the corner and the right field line is tough too because the balls is can't balance over there or going back to the fair territory. And it's very difficult because in other stadiums it's a normal homers, and then in Petco Park is that. It's like you need to be behind the ball.
Now, you played outfield your whole life. You're looking over at Fernando early in spring training and early in the season. Was he it takes some getting used to because you got to wait and wait and wait. You help keep him locked in out there.
Yes, but at the same time, he know what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy, how he get in there. And I told the guys last year, when you see Fernando the first time catching fly balls in the batting practice, is insane. So
it's awesome.
Talking to Padres outfielder Jose Azocar, and you just said you're competing an everyday job, but as a good teammate, you've also got these young guys like Jackson Merrill and Jacob Marcy, who they're trying to come up and figure it out. How does that work as a teammate, showing them the ropes, but also competing with them for a job?
This is a healthy competition. So for me, it's I try to teach them the things that I know, and they probably teach me something that I didn't know. So for me, it's more giving them whatever I have in my mind and everything. So trying to help them, and so they get better. And one day they play 20 years in the big. So.
Where did you get your passion for baseball?
I mean, from my dad.
From your dad? Yeah. Been playing since you were a little kid?
Yeah, so he was my uncle playing the big league, and then since I think I was like 4 years old. He gave me a bat and a glove, so I go to the field every day.
And it was over.
Yeah.
And the playing in Venezuela, playing ball down there, it's different.
Yep.
It's different. It's ingrained in that country. And not that it's not here in America, it is, but the passion for baseball down there is through the roof. It's pretty nuts. It must be nuts to get back down there and play.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like see all those friends and family go to the field every day and see you play. And like the fans get into the game. Like if you make a hurt, they want to kill you after the games. It's like saying many things to you when you play in the outfield, but it's a great time because you enjoy when you have like a big hit, great catch, and all those stuff.
That's awesome.
What does Jurickson bring back as a teammate? Getting him back this week, we saw. I mean, he's already out here. The guy smiles more than anyone I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great guy. I love him, and so his energy is great. Like mine, and then when we are together, we like make some troubles.
Make some trouble. I like it. I like it.
Now
man.
you've got, I mean, your nickname. You've probably had. I mean, it was the easiest nickname of all because Azocar and Azocar is sugar in Spanish. Has everyone called you that since like you were little? So you've always been sugar.
Yeah.
You never had a choice of it.
No.
Yeah.
So
you like it? You like the nickname?
Yeah,
You like
100%. Yeah.
It's a pretty good nickname.
There's way worse nicknames that you can have.
100%.
That's awesome, man. Well, we're wishing you the best of luck out there. I know the competition is fierce, but you keep throwing days like you had out there yesterday. We were listening.
We were listening. Hit that one out. Yeah.
So we were listening, and they said, and Tony Gwynn Jr. said, I don't know how you got to that pitch. Balls down, got your hands in, ripped it out.
Oh yeah, I put a good swing on it. I was waiting for the pitch inside, and I get it, and I put it to fly.
Is that something that you worked on in the offseason too? Trying to hit with a little more pop, a little more power. Yeah,
100%. I need it. That's the game that will tell you like what to do, but like at the same time, I think it's a plus for my career.
You took a while to get that first career home run in an actual game, and I remember because everyone was like waiting for you to finally get it because you can do it. We've seen you do it in batting practice all the time. It just never happened in a game. Was it a relief? Was it excitement when you finally got the big league home run?
I know I pimping and everything because I know I crushed that one, and it was a great moment. Like getting back to the dugout, but AB before, so I told the guys that I need to hit a homer tonight, so I did.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're wishing you luck, man. We'll let you get back, do your works. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's great to meet you. We're pulling for you.
That's cool. Jose Azocar, Sugar, Padres outfielder with us here with Ben and Woods here at Padres spring training. And
you're right.
That's right. We're good. We'll fix it. So we talked about the Padres outfield. They added Jurickson Profar, officially arrived over the weekend. We saw him here this morning with a big smile, as he's always got. Also, some rumors this weekend that the Padres are in the mix for another outfielder. Reportedly 4 teams finalists for the services of free agent Kike Hernandez.
It's pretty rare when you get the actual teams that are involved, like the last 4 in the process.
Was it? It was the Angels, the Padres, the Twins, and the Giants are the 4 teams that reportedly, I assume this is coming from his agent, are in the mix to try to sign Kike Hernandez, who is coming off a down year. He was with the Red Sox. They let him go, went to the Dodgers again at the end of the year, where we obviously know him as a thorn in the side of the NL West, kind of that annoying player that the Dodgers would pair with all their superstars over the years. But
what are we doing? Final 4 teams. What is Shohei Ohtani?
I know.
Yamamoto.
It's just rare. It's rare
Bryce Harper.
that happens where you actually get the teams that are still left in the mix. I don't know. I'm assuming now it came from some pretty well-respected baseball guys.
Yeah.
So,
Padres probably. It makes sense that they'd be talking to a guy who's played center field, has experience there, is a veteran who can do a little hitting. Now, he had a double hernia surgery last year, so hopefully maybe coming back healthy. Now, we talked about that with Nelson Cruz last year. It didn't totally work out the way the Padres were hoping, but there are other teams who think that Kike Hernandez might help as well, and it's someone that the Padres reportedly are in discussions with right now, along with 3 other teams.
Yeah, I now after just meeting Sugar, I'm like, well, I don't want Kike Hernandez.
No, that's
I'd like
Sugar out there.
It's amazing how quickly the tables can turn. Vibes on this team are pretty good so far.
Even if Sugar proved himself as an everyday guy, and Jackson Merrill did as well, you still need more depth.
You do.
It's very, very thin in terms of the outfield depth right now for the Padres.
Is Kike still doing the thing where he'll play a little second?
He can
play
play, he can play some
infield
and,
as well,
and outfield as well.
I mean, look, I think he's declined the last couple of years. He had a really nice season a couple of years ago, but again, the injury, if he's through all of that and still has a desire to play baseball and he doesn't cost a lot of money, boy, that sounds like a nice fit for our San Diego Padres right now. But I don't think too many pieces. It's a bit of an insurance policy, I think, too, Ben, in case somebody does falter.
You're seeing now, though, after the early big deals, players are having trouble getting their money now. It's definitely the patience.
Yeah, man.
I can't say it's paid off for A.J. Preller, but if he's still in the market, the price tags have come down. Garrett Cooper signed a minor league deal yesterday.
Non-roster invitee.
Yeah, I mean, a guy who, was a big leaguer, hit 17 home runs last year that, we saw with the Padres at the end of the season, didn't even get a major league deal. I know people are wondering, well, Padres, you could have used that bat at least as a DH possibility.
Sure.
And obviously Padres saw what they saw last year and weren't that interested in bringing him back. But it just goes to tell you that, price tags on guys like Cooper and Kike Hernandez when he eventually signs, they're not going to be through the roof now. Not like some of the deals we saw early in the offseason that were the big money deals. Those apparently are gone now. Even Cody Bellinger, as we were talking about, he got $30 million, but he didn't get the long-term, many years guaranteed that he was hoping for in free agency. And you wonder what's left for a guy like Blake Snell.
Yeah.
For a Matt Chapman, for a Jordan Montgomery.
Montgomery to the Red Sox is picking up some momentum. They still have some money that they have not spent in the offseason. And I know their fan base is clamoring for another starter, and he would slot in, right up there at the top of their rotation, Ben. So, if you're a Red Sox fan, you're like, okay, we had him for 5 years. Are we going to be ready to compete in 2? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what their plans are. They've got some good young talent too. But, when one of your superstars like Rafael Devers comes out and says, you guys better get off your ass and go out and sign somebody. If you're Craig Breslow and the ownership of the Red Sox, you probably should.
I'll tell you what, if I am a pitcher, and not of Jordan Montgomery's talent level.
You're not of his talent level.
But, no, I know. But if I was, the free agents that are out there that are not getting the offers they're looking for, the Padres would be a really attractive place, I think, to come play. There's opportunity.
Yeah, lots of opportunity.
Even if you have to accept a minimum or minor league type invite deal, I'd rather take it from the Padres. Both a team that you feel like if you do well, you could still make it to the postseason. You can impress some people. You could earn a free agent deal next year. But you're walking in at a place where there is some openings. Like you're not just running into a rotation that already has 5-6 guys locked in and you're just hoping to make it as a swing guy in the bullpen. There's legitimate opportunity here, both outfield, pitching rotation as well. So you'd think that would be in the favor of AJ Preller as he's having discussions with agents that are trying to find a landing spot for their players at this point.
And I'm telling you, until he puts ink to paper with another team, I'm still going to hold out hope for Blake Snell coming back on some sort of weird deal. I just am. He would be such a valuable piece here. He knows Ruben. He won a Cy Young with Ruben. He knows these guys. They know him. He knows the city. He knows the fans. Until he signs, I'm just going to keep hoping. I'm not saying that they're going to. I'm not saying that they even talked to Scott Boras about it. But until he signs with another team, I mean, obviously we know the fit is there with Blake, and I just don't know what they're going to have to spend or want to spend or what he's willing to take.
Speaking of Ruben Niebla, some interesting conversations with new Padres starter Michael King. I want to get into that coming up. I think they're going to be in their meeting, so we probably will get some Aztecs talk over the weekend as well. We'll get to our regular features that we skipped over earlier. Why can't we? That was a nice win.
It was a great
for
win.
San Diego State.
Yeah, they won by 30 points. What do you mean?
They played really well.
Point. So let's take a time out. We'll come back with more live from Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. It's Ben and Woods, day one on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, we got a special treat for you here. Ben and Woods live at Padres Spring Training. The initials are JA. He will join us right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Do not go anywhere.
From the
All right, joining us out here on the patio at the Peoria Sports Complex. We got to listen to him and Tony Gwynn yesterday. Already 4 games now under your belt this spring. The voice of the Padres on 97.3 The Fan, Jesse Agler, is with us here. Good morning, Jesse. It is good to see you in person. You do look good.
You guys are very sexy. Nice to be here with you. And $900, huh?
Save that clip of him saying you guys are very sexy because I want to use that for the show.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For the next time we talk. Yeah, an extra $9 bills.
I
to the
mean,
old
you know,
Odyssey.
hotels around here can charge about $4 for 11 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So
It's
they're going to charge
capitalism.
the
Capitalism.
absolute
It's
maximum.
It's as if I remember my 7th grade economics class. It's called supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
I talked to a restaurateur here a couple of years ago, and he was telling me that his restaurant here in town, about 12 minutes from here, does more business during spring training than they do the rest of the year put together.
I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
not surprised
I mean,
at all.
you come into a hotel here in August, we get 98% vacancy
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have your pick of floors.
$69 a night, my
So
friend.
it's only 122 degrees outside,
Yeah.
but the air conditioning works great.
No doubt, man. No doubt. But yeah, it's funny, Adam. We almost died on the way out here. Legitimately,
Wow.
there was a car coming the wrong way on the highway.
on the 85.
On the what was it?
On,
85.
the cut up from Gila
From Gila
Bend
Bend.
to
Gila
the
Bend,
10. Yeah, they were on the wrong side, coming straight at us.
Right at us,
Yeah.
and had to swerve out of the way, and it was really nerve wracking. So he texted us right after that. Man, I'm so glad you guys are okay. The very next breath, we told the story about the Airbnb and the hotel and the $900. We haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
So
He's reconsidering his previous text. Yeah.
He's like, man, I would have gotten off of extra $9 bills. Well, so listen, we were talking about broadcast yesterday, and you said to us off air, felt like the first, finally, getting in the groove. And I said, well, it's also the first game where they looked semi decent playing. That first game must have been super duper fun.
It was just like,
You're like, this? I waited for this.
it doesn't matter.
Right,
And
of course.
you're not actually bothered by it. And Musgrove's out there. He's getting ahead of everybody,
Yep.
1 and 2. And then he was trying to land his breaking ball, and he wasn't feeling it. In a normal game, he would have blown a fastball past one of those guys,
100%.
and we would have been on with our lives. But in the first spring training game, he's out there trying to work on something. And the next thing you know, at the end of half an inning, it's the Dodgers 8 and the Padres coming up. And you just sort of like look at each other, and you're like, oh, that's not what you want, but it's fine. It already feels like a month ago, so that's the good thing.
That does. It does. And Tony Gwynn Jr. did make it on time that day, right?
How are we going to define on time?
that's
first
good.
pitch?
No.
Okay.
Now
all right.
we sold it pretty good. I opened the broadcast. I said, alongside Tony Gwynn Jr., like I always do.
Ooh.
But then you just never heard from him. And it was like a little Jesse filibuster.
Genius.
And then I think he got through maybe 3rd or 4th batter.
Okay.
And like I kind of let him catch his breath. He kind of gave me a nod when he was like, okay.
We had him on that morning on the road at like 8 a.m.
Okay.
And he was only around that that casino way out there, and I'm going like, I don't think he's gonna make it.
You're
This
done?
is gonna be really
He's
tight.
living on the edge.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
no, it was in the top of the first still. But of course, the top of the first took a while, so he had a little bit of a cushion there. And yeah, so once he kind of caught his breath, he gave me the nod, and I just brought him in as if he had been there the whole time.
That's amazing.
I was like,
that's
oh, yeah, what a
true pro
pitch.
right there. I would have called him out.
We were laughing.
I would have opened the thing and be like, well, I guess I'll just do this by myself. Ben Higgins decided to leave this morning.
I feel like I've actually heard you do that.
Yeah.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it plenty of times. How has the offseason been for you, my friend?
The off season, that's long gone. It was fine. It's the weird thing about this job, for me, and I love it obviously, but it's just like two extremes. Like during the season, it's just baseball, very little family, and then in the off season, it's family, very little baseball. So the switch flips very quickly, and now we're into this.
It's it's hard too because last year going into spring training, obviously the buzz was crazy. I mean, it was beyond crazy, and it wasn't just us, the cheerleader homers that we are. It was Ken Rosenthal, and it was Jeff Passan, and it was everyone in the country saying, winning the division. The Dodgers are going to be down this year. Obviously, we know how it shook out last year, and it didn't work out in our favor. But now those same pundits are saying, don't sleep on the Padres. We've got to back to that underdog role. Talking to the guys seem pretty relaxed and ready to flush that whole scene.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt. It's a totally different vibe than last year. And yeah, I don't think last year has any impact on this year.
Yeah.
I mean that statistically, I mean that psychologically, all that stuff we suffered through last season with the 1-run games and the extra inning games, that literally doesn't matter now, which is great, obviously, because it went really badly last year. And in terms of learning things from last year, sure, every experience is a learning experience if you treat it the right way. So I'm sure they've each individually and collectively taken some things away from last year. But I liked the analogy that Mike Shildt used one of the first days here. He's like, look, the windshield is a lot bigger than the rearview mirror.
Yep.
And he's like, and I'm only peeking up at the rearview mirror. I'm not really paying much attention to it at all. And obviously the message being, well, what's happening in front of us is far more important than what's happening behind us. And that's very much been their mentality.
Talking to Jesse Agler, and a part of spring training for you is getting to know new players, catching up obviously with old ones, but also new coaches and a new manager. And while we've met Mike Shildt before in the organization to talk to him on a daily basis, we've been impressed with kind of the touch that he's displayed so far. What have you seen here over this past week or two from Mike Shildt?
Exactly what I expected, which is a really big positive. He gets this. He gets it from 360 degrees. He's one of really 2 handfuls of managers in Major League history to have not played professional baseball. And so with that sort of unique path to this point, he has a unique perspective. And he has a tremendous, tremendous understanding of what everybody does because he's been a clubhouse kid. He's been a press box guy. He's done a little bit of everything in the game. And so he really has a great perspective on understanding from 360 degrees around what everybody is here to do. And I'm not saying anything about Bob Melvin or anybody else, but just that Mike really, really gets it. And I individually love that. And I think it goes a long way to how he treats people, to the relationships he has on the baseball side, on the business side, the broadcast side, the training side, all of it. And he's a leader. He gets it. He's also critically been around a lot the last couple of years. So you're not bringing somebody into the organization who has to sort of learn, all right, what went wrong? What are these guys like? He knows all of that, which means he can attack all of that.
Now, some of the coaches are back, like Ruben Niebla, but there are some new coaches. We haven't met those guys yet. You've obviously met a couple of them. I heard you talking about, is it the new third base coach?
Tim Leeper.
You called him the human Red Bull.
That's
I
Mike
think.
Shilt's quote we stole.
Okay,
but yes.
why is that? Tell me about this.
He doesn't stop moving.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever had too many Red Bulls, you've been Tim Leeper. The other day, they're taking batting practice over there on field 2, just like literally a normal pregame batting practice. And I'm kind of standing, I guess, what would be the on-deck area of the third base dugout. And I'm just kind of looking around, taking it all in. Manny's hitting bombs. Toddy's hitting bombs. And I look over towards the third base coach's box, and Tim Leeper is like bouncing around. And at first I thought he was essentially pretending to be the runner on third base, like taking leads and going back. And as I kept watching him, I realized, no, he's doing third base coaching maneuvers, and he's tracking the ball and then positioning himself and coming down the line and resetting pitch after pitch after pitch. And so I grabbed Tony because Tony's been around baseball literally his entire life. I've been around a lot, but there's still, so many things I don't know. And I was like, okay, I want to show you something. I've never seen it, but I want to know if you've ever seen it. And he's like, what? And we go out and I tell him, and he's like, I've never seen that before. And it was just fascinating.
That's awesome.
And it also made all the sense in the world.
Sure.
Like if I was a third base coach, of course I'd be doing that during batting practice. Of course I'd want to be sort of practicing and working on my craft. What do I do during batting practice a lot of the time? In my brain, as an announcer, I'm saying, what word would I use to describe that batted ball? Would I say it was whacked? Would I say it was, poked? Would I would say, whatever. Like that's what I'm doing during BP in my brain. So of course that's what Tim Leeper is doing over at third base. It was a heck of a show. It was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. We're talking to the great Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. Now we need to discuss the elephant in the room here. And the elephant in the room is the incorporator. And like all good things, everything good comes to an end at some point.
Oh, wow.
I'm not canceling.
Whoa.
No.
Did the incorporator say something bad about someone and it's being canceled?
The incorporator is one of my favorite bits of all time. I want to know how you feel about it, right? And how the audience feels about it. We used to do a thing with our beloved Ben. Ben reads raps. Every Friday he would read a rap. And after a while, you're like, all right, that's a one-note joke. We got it. It's over. So we killed it. Bring it back maybe 2-3 times a year. I get in these moods where I like to switch everything up. I want to keep it fresh. I never want to be stale. Now, we suffer from that sometimes. Everybody does. But I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling about it? Is there a twist that we could put on it? Are you bored with it?
I'm not bored with it.
Okay,
so
good.
let's start there.
Okay, that's a load off me right now.
Okay. No,
good.
I enjoy it. So a few things here.
But we're running out of words.
The English language is finite, and we are running out of words.
Let's move to French.
Should we start doing slang, like
the incorporator en français?
like Riz or so? Look at the Riz he has.
Yeah, this guy can hit, no cap.
Now I would actually,
Yeah,
I might pee my pants if you could get those. That would be a bet.
Yeah, that goes into Ben Reed's raps territory right there.
That guy can hit no cap.
Song lyrics
Yeah.
are incorporated
no.
into the.
So look, I'm all for freshening it up. We did the 1 year right where people called in and left messages.
Yeah.
We let the people have the incorporator, and then I think you got a little jealous and you took it back
I think
the
so.
following season.
Sounds about right.
No, so like I'm down for whatever. If we
Okay.
want to freshen it up, we can try some different things. I'll say this. Boy, do I hesitate even telling you guys this because your heads are plenty big.
Yeah, true.
The number of people who come up to me.
That's all I need.
Now,
to hear.
here's the one thing we got to work on: the branding. None of them remember what it's called. They all just say the thing with the word.
Oh,
The thing with the
thing-
word.
nobody
No.
can remember
I mean, we could
incorporator.
not have used incorporator more often.
I know. But
drilled
for
it into
whatever
people's
reason,
heads.
the
the word bit is what they
Yeah.
call it.
the term incorporator does not stick. But man, I tell you, especially out here, because you got like hardcore fans out here
Oh,
at spring
yeah.
training, and I'm just walking down and like, Jesse, can you sign the hat? Yeah, of course. Hey, I love that thing you do with the morning show with the word. The thing when you say the word
with the word and the thing.
and the other one is like a
Word.
Petco. It could be like a random Sunday. I'm going down to get an acai bowl on the concourse before the day game. Somebody goes, "Oh, what's the word today?" I was like, we only do it on Tuesdays. But if you got a word, let me know. Like it's incredible
That's
how
good. Okay.
often
All
people
right.
come
All right.
up to me.
All
So
right.
I'm not sick of it.
I feel
I don't
better.
think
Okay.
your listeners are sick of it.
Okay, good.
My
And-
favorite bit is when Jesse on Tuesday or any other day just uses a $10 word, and
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
goes, "Oh,
Punctilious.
that must be the incorporator."
No.
No, it's Thursday. Jesse's just talking
That's
like
just
Jesse
how
talks.
he
Yeah,
talks.
he's a jerk, and that's how he speaks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, good. Well, you put me at ease a little bit as a.
So you want to do like the first one to? Well, we're not on the rate. We got a webcast tomorrow. One of the Korea games, opening day in Korea.
100 million.
yeah, we
That way we get
percent.
everybody to tune in at 3 a.m. Way to go, Major League Baseball.
Super fun for everybody. Well, I mean,
It won't be 3 a.m. for you though.
No, but if we would have played the game at 1 o'clock local in Seoul, it'd be 8 p.m. on the West Coast.
oh,
Day
What a
yeah.
concept. What a
Day game.
concept.
Rob Manfred's here. Can
I
we
know.
scream at him? If you could ask the commissioner, Jesse, just one question, what would it be?
When we were in Monterey for that Dodger series a few years ago now, 18 or whatever it was, the first game, the rainy no-hitter, Luke
Yeah.
Casey, the combined Dodger no-hitter, we had Manfred on, I think, in the third inning. And it's like our booth was leaky. I'm sitting on a literal milk crate. He's wedged in behind Teddy and I. We're having a very nice conversation on the air. It was my inning, so I was, kind of leading the way. Ted was awesome. Manfred was really good. We're talking about whatever. We finish, go to break or whatever, middle of the third inning, shake his hand. Hey, Rob, thanks so much for coming up here. He looks at me like super confused and perplexed. He goes, You're really good.
That's great.
I'm like, okay, thanks. I was like, what is that supposed to mean?
I
Like,
love it. I love
You really do a good job talking into that hunk of metal
Yeah.
you're holding there.
Yeah, the hunk of metal.
Yeah.
The hunk of metal. Yeah,
hunk of
so
metal.
he's here
yes,
right now.
yes.
Wow.
What time is he coming on, Paul?
Anytime he wants. Woods is going to ask the tough questions, though. He's promised no softballs.
Oh, yeah,
he was
That's
our
good
very first, he
trivia.
was
Wow.
our very first guest.
very first guess.
Back at the old station on the phone. I have no idea why he was on, or
No idea. No.
I mean, it was weird though.
he
Actually,
hadn't completely soiled himself
Yeah.
at that point. I will say this, and there was a piece about Evan Trellick wrote a piece this morning about the commissioner. Will he really walk away? And these guys could replace him. And these are questions to ask. Again,
Was my name on the list?
Your name was not on the list.
should be.
I would vote
Should
for
be.
you
I
though.
would definitely
But
vote
I-
Jesse as commissioner.
But you do have to give credit where credit is due. I think last year, those rule changes that everyone was
Yeah.
really against, they really worked. They did. It
Look,
was something that worked.
If he walks up behind me while I'm talking, I'll be in a lot of trouble. But like, he's probably the most progressive leader the sport has ever had.
Yeah. He
Which
just says
isn't
the
saying
wrong, He
much.
says the wrong
It's a
thing.
communication. Like the struggles are generally communications related, I think, as opposed to substance. Now, look, when it comes to the work stoppage in the CBA, that's hardball, man. Like those things, I don't think you can hold that stuff against him. Same way I don't think you can hold it against the owners or the Players
Yeah.
Players Association. Like they each have a very entrenched position, and that's what they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
And so, that is what it is. That's like its own category. With the rest of it, he does a very nice job stewarding this sport. And as you said, the rule changes are at the top of that list. He's empowered people in his office, like Morgan Sword, who's brilliant and wonderful and totally gets it, to go out there and kind of, experiment with these things, collect the necessary information to make informed decisions. So, from those standpoints, and that's really what matters. It's been great.
They lowered the time to 18 seconds with the runner on base. Have you noticed any difference so far during spring training?
Yeah, it's a little bit better with the pace. I will say last year there came a point, and Bob Melvin and I used to argue about this. Because I said pretty early on, I think 20 is too long, and he looked at me like my head was on fire, and I was like, I just think that there's a lack of natural pace when a guy runs it all the way down to 20. We sort of got into a flow and a rhythm, and I know it sounds silly to like a normal fan, 20 or 18 seconds. It sounds ridiculous.
Right.
And I know people also love round numbers. But any little bit helps, just kind of maintaining a natural flow to the thing.
And that's not from just a broadcaster's perspective.
Who's behind me? You
It's
guys keep
not.
looking.
No, there's nobody.
No,
nobody.
no.
No, it's not just from a broadcaster's perspective. Some of the older generation, man, I miss, the days before the pitch clock and all that. Well, bud, the pitch clock actually brings it back to
Right.
more close. It's closer to the baseball you watch growing up. It's
Of
not the
course.
same, certainly, but it gets it back.
The time of game last year was like, I think the quickest since 84, 85,
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
That's what you used to watch.
That's the way it used
That's
to
how
look
it used
like.
to be. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But you're right. It's mostly communication. He doesn't revere the same things that the fans revere.
Imagine if your lovely wife, she's talking to one of her friends and she's like, Steven he's a wonderful dad. He's a wonderful husband. He's a wonderful man. He just says stupid things.
But she does say that.
And there you go.
That's
And
fair enough.
and that's okay.
That's okay.
You can handle that. You
That's
can
true.
manage that.
I can wear that.
Webcast today?
No, today is one of two games Tony and I are not working all spring.
Oh,
Well, you're off.
I think Don and
Don
Mud are working the
and
game
Mud
today.
and Bob and Mary Luce will make her debut. They've
Okay.
got the Padres TV
Yeah.
broadcast.
Joe
We-
Musgrove, Michael King on the mound today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, Tony and I are back with a video webcast, our first video webcast of the spring. You Darvish against Michael Waka. How about that?
Oh, old friend of
Storylines
The Royals will be here in
abound.
Peoria tomorrow. Jesse, thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you,
to see
brother.
you in person.
Appreciate it.
As always, in the Incorporator.
Lives
Remember,
on.
it will be back, and
Lives
it's
on.
still called the Incorporator. We need to drill that into everybody's
That's
head.
true.
The Incorporator.
We need a theme song.
Incorporator. All right. We will take a timeout. Already 2 hours in the books. That
Hey,
went really fast.
How do I find water? I can't go in.
You can go to the
and get
media
one.
room all the way around 17 miles around the side and bring me back one too. Would you? While we do that, let's get a caller on the line. We're going to qualify someone for Las Vegas. Yeah, we're going to play the Padres. Our Padres SAT. It's a multiple choice sort of contest that we'll be playing. 833-288-0973. Get to that when we come back with Ben Woods live from Padres spring training on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right. All right. Am I on? There we go. All right. We're halfway home on a Monday live from Peoria, Arizona. Padres spring training. It's Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. It has been a harrowing 14 hours or so far, but we are getting better. Jesse Agler, sweet angel, thanks for joining us. Went and brought us some waters, too. I'm going to take that double. I'm going to probably need double.
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, you didn't get one.
You
That's
just
yours.
told
Sorry.
Paul
I thought
to
he had one. I thought he brought 4. Sorry. Yeah, of course you can have that, Paulie.
Thank you.
What's mine is yours. Great to be out here, man. Having a lot of fun so far. Great to see so many familiar faces and see some of the new faces as well. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And, trying to line up some more interviews. I think we're going to have the skipper joining us pretty soon, but wanted to give an update yesterday. The Tier 1 baseball team, Benny, well, we took our first L of the season, lost 7-2, ran into a buzzsaw. Patrick,
ex-major leaguers, guys like that.
I don't know that he pitched in the big leagues, but Patrick McGuire was his name, and he 2-hit us through 7 innings. He absolutely shoved and was really, really good, throwing hard and nasty, breaking stuff, and we just didn't hit, man. Tier 1s didn't get the job done
Tier
yesterday.
0 for 1s.
Tier pretty much 0 for 3s all day.
Tier 1 and 1s.
But, the Tier 1 and 1s right now. But it was a really cool move. I had told you guys that if we win, I'll donate to the Peter Seidler Foundation. Well, we lost.
So you saved $100. You can apply that toward our hotel charges.
I can, but the cool thing was after the game, Patrick came up and said, hey, man, love your show. And he said, we're going to donate today to the Peter Seidler Foundation. So I thought that was really cool. Guys out there playing for a lot of passion and having fun and camaraderie, but also for a bigger purpose. So that was really special.
That's a classy gesture.
Very classy move by the Oceanside Old Goats, who absolutely took it to us yesterday. And, you win some, you lose some. As a manager, I had people asking me, are you going to panic? And I said, oh, absolutely not. I got a lot of faith in the squad. And I'm gonna take a page out of Mike Shilt's book, man. I'm just going to keep grinding, focusing on the details. And
you going to ask him for any coaching advice?
No, I've managed enough. I mean,
Mike Shildt scheduled to join us here in about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes, we joined by the skipper. No, I'm gonna observe from afar and try to glean some information from. I love the lineup I put out there yesterday. Love the pitching moves I had, and just sometimes the ball doesn't go your way. The umpire was terrible. He was terrible, but no excuses there. We didn't hit. We didn't hit at all.
You should watch how he conducts his press conference session.
Okay.
Because you do a manager's press conference most weeks for the Ben and Wood show.
It's true.
We'll see if he's wearing pants.
See if he has pants on.
That was optional for you at our last press conference last week.
And as I'm looking at all the guys that have been walking out and stuff, they're still in seemingly last year's pants. I don't know that the shipment has got here. Rob Manfred apparently is in the clubhouse right now. And if I'm Who's the player that raises his hand and says, when are we getting our new pants and why are the new pants so terrible?
Manny can feel confident. He can speak up without fear of repercussion.
Absolutely.
We have a lineup that just came out for today's game.
Lay it on me.
Looking good. We're going to lead off with the Platinum Gold Glove winner.
And Gold Glove winner. The platinum and gold are different medals.
Nando in right. Bogarts at second, Cronenworth at first, Machado DHing in the cleanup spot, Kim at short, Profar in left, Campisano behind the dish, Marcy in center field, Matt Batten playing third, and Joe Musgrove on the bump.
I'm pretty
Very
excited.
Representative lineup today.
I'm pretty excited. We're gonna when we get out of here, we'll have a couple hours to kill. We'll go recheck into the meth lounge,
hopefully cleaned Airbnb.
The Tweakers Lounge, and then we will from there get unpacked.
Do you think they'll re-landscape this morning as well? They could use a little touch up on the front yard area.
It's something else, man. But and then after that, we'll come back over and go down and watch some of the game. We don't have to sit in the press box, do we?
You do not have to sit in the press box.
I don't want to.
I am comfortable in the press box.
I know you are.
It's my lounge, my area where I like to be.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So, while we're here, obviously our schedule is going to be off a little bit from our normal days. We'll probably get to some of our regular features. Take on Woods usually comes in our last hour. With Woodsy here, we don't really have anywhere to send him for the game.
I've run way out before, but we don't have to.
So instead of Take on Woods, which is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, it only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. We're going to play a little Padres SAT, a little multiple choice. We got Jeremy on the line as our contestant today. Jeremy, are you there? Can you hear me all the way from Arizona?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so Woods can help you out. We've got 7 questions for you. Just like real or fake, if you can get 4 out of the 7 right, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing 2 nights at the Westgate Las Vegas Hotel and Casino and tickets to Air Supply on May 31st and June 1st at the Westgate International Theater. Tickets are available now at Ticketmaster.com. Do you know your Padres, Jeremy?
Pretty well, I hope.
All right, so all of these will be multiple choice questions, and if you can get 4 out of 7 right, we'll put you into the drawing. All right, first question, Padres SAT. Which Padres player set a record for most runs batted in a division series playoff with 9? Your options are Manny Machado, Jurickson Profar, or Xander Bogaerts. Most runs batted in a division playoff series, Machado, Profar, or Bogaerts. What's it going to be, Jeremy?
I'm going to go with Machado.
Manny Machado. Would you concur?
I do.
That is correct. He did it in 2014 with the Baltimore Orioles against the Detroit Tigers. 9 runs batted in the division series. Just like that, that is 1 correct. All right, question number 2, Padres SAT. Which Padres player hit his first career grand slam last season against former teammate Ryan Weathers? Your options, Jose Azocar, Matt Batten, or Ha-Sung Kim. Jeremy?
I'm going to go with Kim.
Ha-Sung Kim is correct. Came off of Ryan Weathers and the Miami Marlins last season. That was a very celebratory moment. Came in that very nice last month of the season when the Padres were playing some good baseball and winning. All right, 2 for 2. You are killing it right now, Jeremy. Question 3 of our Padres SAT. Which Padres pitcher threw a no-hitter in the Nebraska Class A high school state championship game? Your options are Jay Groom, Matt Waldron, or Steven Wilson.
Steven Wilson.
Yes,
Steven
I
Wilson
agree.
is from Colorado.
Ah, that's right. Damn it.
The answer is Matt Waldron threw a no-no in the state championship game. So we're still at 2. Let's go to question number 4. Of these 4 Padres players, which one was not born in Venezuela? If you were listening earlier, you should be able to eliminate at least 1. Robert Suarez, Jose Azocar, Luis Patino, or Jairo Uriarte. Which one was not born in Venezuela? Suarez, Azocar, Patino, or Iriarte?
Is it? I want to say it's Patino.
He says Patino. Jeremy, your final answer.
All right, I'll go with that. Patino.
That is correct.
Thank
Yes,
you.
the other 3 are all Venezuelans. All right, that's 3. All you need is 1 more, and you will qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. Which of these Padres players does not have a Y in their first or last name? Johnny Brito, Sean Reynolds, Reese Kinnear, or Wandy Peralta?
I know this one.
Which one does not have a Y in their first or last name?
What do you got?
That's Reese Kinnear, bud.
He's going with Reese Kinnear. Jeremy, you've got a Y in your name.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go with Kinnear.
And it is Reese Kinnear. He's not an R-H-Y-S. He's an R-E-I-S-S.
Johnny Brito's J-H-O-N-N-Y.
N-Y. John Reynolds has the silent Y in
Yep.
Reynolds. And Wandy, of course, ends in a Y. Congratulations, Jeremy. Stay on the line. Frankie will get your information. You have qualified in our Padres SAT. You want the last 2 questions
Sure.
here? All right. Which Padres pitcher did they acquire for Joaquin Benoit in a 2015 trade with the Mariners? Luis Patino, Glenn Otto, or Enyel De Los Santos?
2015?
2015.
Otto.
It was, Enyel De Los Santos, first
And then-
time around.
Then he went to the
And then he
Phillies.
left and went around a couple different teams, and now he's
couple
back with the San Diego Padres. And last question, which of these 4 Padres players was not born in Southern California? Joe Musgrove, Kyle Higashioka, Tom Cosgrove, or Jeremiah Estrada?
Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, correct. East Coaster.
Yep.
Not from Southern California. So congratulations, Jeremy. You have qualified in our Padres SAT for the grand prize drawing to Las Vegas.
All right, we got the.
How'd you do in your SAT, by the way?
Oh,
Did we talk
God.
about this
I
before?
think we have. I think I got a. All right. How much a piece?
It was 1,600 when we did it. It was
Okay.
800 math,
Changes.
800 verbal. Now it's like 2,400. It's different. but
Okay, it was
it was
1,600.
16 was a perfect score.
I got a.
See, I got a 16 something.
Yeah,
think,
you're younger, so it was higher.
I got a 980. I think
Total.
total. What'd you get?
14, Tim.
What do you do? Hey, what do you do for a living?
Same thing as you.
How much money do you
Same
make?
as you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So there's your lesson, kids.
The SAT is not everything. Hey, it just got Jeremy a chance at a trip to Las Vegas, so don't laugh at the SAT.
1410 is what you
I was a
got.
good test taker. I was a very good
I'm
test
shocked.
taker.
1410.
1410.
Did you do like tutors and stuff and go to the SAT like
No,
preps?
no. I mean, I had
Just
some
went in
books
cold.
and stuff, but yeah, pretty much. You're right. It doesn't really do you anything later in life.
Where'd you go to college?
Pomona College.
exactly.
It's good
That's
school.
good school,
It's
you're
good
right.
school. I got into a good school thanks to a good SAT score.
That is.
All right, let's
That's unbelievable.
let's take a little time out because the manager, Mike Shildt, is going to be coming out before he does his daily news conference. He's
we're
going to
getting him
sit
before.
down
Yeah,
with Ben
get first
Woods
crack.
in person.
Flagship benefits right there.
Shilty, the manager of the Padres,
Shildt hits the fan next.
is going to join us when we come back after a check of traffic. Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona. It's Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Been a pretty good first 2 hours and 19 minutes in Peoria, Arizona for us. I mean, last night was a bit of a challenge, but now we're here, and everything has worked well. Paulie did a great job setting up our live shot, our location here, our live remote from the Padres back patio here at the spring training facility. Mike Shildt, the manager of the Padres, is expected to come out in just a couple of minutes and join us. He's done a nice job so far. Got his first Padres spring training victory under his belt yesterday.
Yes.
Which is got to be a good feeling,
Well,
even though the games don't mean anything.
They don't mean a damn thing, but I can promise you this. You want to win one at some point.
I mean, if you're going to bus all the way across town
Yes.
to Mesa, Arizona,
100%.
rather bus back with a victory than another loss.
Absolutely. You had some guys getting some extra base hits yesterday, which was something that some people were talking about, and guys hitting some bombs, and that's what you want, man. Get guys catching some barrels, finding some green out there, splitting those gaps, and so yesterday, so far, so good. I really loved what I heard about all the pitchers yesterday as well, Vasquez, and of course the one that we're going to be talking about a lot, Drew Thorpe, is a guy that I'm really interested to try to locate here at some point and watch him throw a little bit. And Jesse and Tony were talking about him on the broadcast, that he's built like a linebacker, and when you look at him, he looks like a guy that throws absolute ched, but he throws about 91, 92. But Tony said, well, when he throws 91, he'll then go 81 on a changeup, which is insane. They said his changeup is plus.
And that was about the difference for Trevor Hoffman between his fastball and his change, about 10 miles per hour.
And then Tony said, and to make it even worse, he'll make it even worse, he'll throw one at you that's like 84. It's just the hardest thing to do, even if you know if that thing's coming, to sit on it, because now he can mix speeds with that.
You can learn so much from listening to Tony.
Yeah.
And, and part of the key of that is if you are tipping it with your delivery, like you slow down your arm, so batters are going to see that.
Who was
that was
it Estrada?
It might have been Estrada was working on a changeup.
And he was tipping it.
Yeah. And he said, Tony goes, he threw it softer, but you could see he slowed down his windup. So, a major league batter is going to pick up on that right away. So what made Trevor Hoffman so devastating is that the changeup looked exactly like the fastball. You just saw a fastball, and even though it was only 92 or whatever, Trevor was throwing like 89 by the end of his career. If it looks like it's going to be a fastball, you have to swing like it's going to be a fastball. And all of a sudden it's coming out at 80 and it's dropping you have no chance of hitting that because it looked exactly like the fastball coming out of his hand.
Yeah, man. He looked pretty nasty. I saw a little video of that this morning as I was scrolling through Twitter, and it looked so dirty. So don't know what his progress is going to be or what their plan for him is most of the time last year in single A, four games with the Yankees at double A or 5 games with 4-1. So I think, the sky's the limit for that young man as well.
It's amazing how often these things work themselves out in spring training. We kind of operate under the assumption, well, assuming everybody's healthy, they're looking behind Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, and Michael King. They're looking for the two guys who really stand out, both in their mound sessions right here and on the field during spring training games. But ultimately what happens is you get to, March 20th and a couple of guys are a little hurt, a couple of guys, had a setback or something and aren't quite extended out. And the decision ends up kind of being made for you just based on, who's healthy, who's available, who's ramped up for the right, level to start a game and give you the innings you're going to need. So sometimes it's a matter of just simply circumstances that end up making a lot of decisions and whoever's on the opening day roster doesn't mean they're making 30 starts.
Right, exactly.
They may make 1 or 2 and then someone else comes in. And the man who makes all of those decisions for the San Diego Padres, the skipper, Mike Shildt, is sitting down and joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. Skip, it's good to see you in person. Been enjoying everything we've seen so far. Welcome to Ben and Woods.
Yeah, welcome, guys. Good to see you here
good to
live
see
and in person.
What are you working on there?
I got
It's
a
very
little
green.
green shade. It's very green. It does look healtly, right?
It does look
this
healthy.
Is my stab at.
Is that the Oreo Shamrock shake from McDonald's? Is that no?
Yeah, I would wish so. This is my illusion of health.
I get it. So you just have to kind of grin and bear it.
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
Get it down.
No doubt.
And then be done with it.
Just
for the
knock it
day.
down, feel good about it, and then go on to my cheeseburger lunch.
Exactly. Well, we enjoyed seeing you. A little late for us to get out to spring training this year, but we kind of wanted to do that too, just to kind of see how everybody settled in and to see if there were going to be additions, subtractions, whatever. But nice to get the first dub out of the way. I know they don't count. We were just talking about it, but you want to get that first one out of the way.
Hey, they keep score. You always want to win.
100%.
We don't want to overreact, and of course, we don't want to underreact ever to anything, but especially spring training.
Yeah.
It's a time just to acclimate. There's a lot of acclimation taking place with everything. Quite candidly, we have a fairly new staff. Clearly, I'm in a new position, and there's a feeling out process, and there's processes being put in that just candidly take some time. And so I'm excited about the steps we're taking, but we're going fast as slowly as possible.
How has spring training changed from your first spring training?
You know what? It's eerily similar.
Is it?
Different moving parts relative to relationships and people. In St. Louis, there was more established relationship, been there for 100 years, and so that part was easier. Here, it's about continuing to build the relationships. It would have been a real challenge coming in cold.
Yep.
But having the relationships, having the off season, once the job got established, and once the staff got established, to start to create these processes, these nuances of how we're gonna put things together. Because we listen, I don't want to minimize how anybody does anything relative to the game of baseball, but we want to make things simple and actionable. But there's a lot of complexities and in this game, and mastering and working on all of them takes time.
Yeah.
And so I'm pleased where we're at. We got a ways to go. Most important thing to wrap up the question, though, is we have a group of players in our clubhouse that are willing to run the race with us, and it starts there.
The evaluation process as you're kind of going through, I'm just curious how you kind of plan it out. Like so far, and I'm sure this will change a little bit, but the home games, we've seen a little more of the veterans in a lineup. Like today, when you've gone on the road yesterday, you've taken some more of the younger players, making being on a bus all the way to Mesa, Arizona. That'll change, I imagine, a little bit as spring goes on and you get more of a mix of those players together.
It will change. I mean, you're always going to be deferential. There's a rightful pecking order of, when guys have their time, whether they travel or not. And people earn not taking that bus trip in spring training and being able to stay back. But it's never the sacrifice of getting the work or the at-bats. Our schedule actually works out fairly favorably, where we can take care of our guys that, keep them at home, keep them fresher, and create those opportunities you mentioned relative to the, which are quite a few. We've got a lot of openings, and so those guys get the chance to, at home and on the road to go and compete and do it. But, we try to put the schedule with a lot of different things in mind.
We talked to Sugar earlier today, and we asked him, this is definitely your first camp where you've come in and you have a shot. I mean, you have a shot to win a starting job potentially. And he said he put in the work in the off season, but we also asked him how difficult it is knowing that there's guys always breathing down your neck. And I'm sure it's like that for, even guys that make $25-30 million. There's always somebody coming up that can maybe do it a little cheaper and a little bit younger. It's tough. It's a tough thing. Do you see a lot of leadership from guys like Sugar helping those young guys out, guys like Tatis, and kind of shepherding them along?
Yeah, at its best, that's what it looks like. And I am starting to see that. That's a very, very unique thing to have happen and challenging and it's also something I'm used to. And it's when it's at its best, that's what it is. When you are encouraging the next guy that has a chance to take your job and share your experiences to help him be a better version of himself in a team setting, that's when you're really clicking. And I'll tell you a quick story. I won't tell too many stories from my past, but I have some pretty good ones.
We love stories.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like our favorite thing.
All right. So story time.
Yeah.
All right. So, I ran minor league camp for years over in St. Louis, and I would always get the guys, Tony would speak and Albert and Holiday, et cetera. So I got Albert to speak one year. And so, there's all the minor league camp, all the position players. And he's talking. And first of all, he said, how long are you going to talk? I talk 15 minutes. Okay, great. Well, we're 45 minutes into it later. And it's fantastic. It's like pure,
riveting.
Absolute riveting gold, hitting, how to go about things, how to think about setting up pictures. It's just fantastic stuff. And he pours into them. And he gets done, and everybody asked questions, interactive. It was fantastic. And so we get done with it, and he turns to me, goes, "Hey guys, he goes, I know you guys want to come to the big leagues." And he goes, "There's only at the time 25-man roster." And he said, "Shildt, how many guys we got here?" I'm like, "I don't know, 80, 85 guys." He goes, "All of you are coming, and I try to help you because I want you to be a big leaguer and get the most out of your God-given ability." Everybody's like, "Yeah, this is great." And he says, "I'm going to tell you one last thing. You will never take my job." And it was absolutely fantastic because he sat there for 45 minutes. I saw him do it. He'd take guys out for dinners. He'd sit in the cages, and he would just share. He went down with Matt Adams at first base when he was in A-ball because he knew this guy's going to come up and help us, which he did.
He did.
A couple times. And he went down there for 45 minutes, went eye wash with the kendo, and worked on all the different things at first base. And I can give you a lot of different examples, but you get the point. And he worked with them, but he wasn't going to.
No.
But that's how this game works. It's pure competition if somebody's always coming after your job.
I love it.
How
And
much
sharing somebody to share to take that's going to have a chance to take it from you, pretty impressive.
I know, Cardinals are rooted in history, but how much have you been able to lean on some of the Padres legends? I know Trevor Hoffman has been here, and some of the similar things that they can impart on some of the young players.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because, again, I hesitate to mention anything too much of my past. I think the story's entertaining, but I'm more about embracing and creating what we're going to do here in San Diego, not for the short term, but not only for the short term, but for the long term. So, we have legacy players here. We have legacy people here, and continuing because they have been. Trevor Hoffman is a legacy.
He's unreal.
He's unreal. He's we talk about Peter Sile. We talk about best in class. Trevor Hoffman is best in class.
Period. Yeah.
Period. In a sentence.
Yep.
So he's in camp as he typically has been. And now there's just a continuing encouragement, not that he needs it, but also intentionality from my part to make sure he's included, involved, sharing his wisdom, because that's where the exponential growth comes from. The Trevor Hoffmans, the Glenn Hoffmans who's around, the Mark Lorettas, I want to see P back more, the Randy Joneses, all these guys, we got Alan Craig, AJ Ellis, Craig Stamen is in more of an official capacity, but all these guys that have the experiences, love the Padres, and can share and grow our players it's really important to our organization.
Now you brought up dinner a minute ago, and then we're going to try to get together for a meal. Well, what's your preference? What do you like?
I am dominating Chipotle right now.
Okay.
Wow.
We can do better. It's on the company.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean,
you like PF Chang's?
I love PF Chang's.
Right.
Yeah.
PF Chang's. Do that.
Yeah,
Let's do
sounds
Close.
great.
It's easy.
Yeah,
It's
fantastic.
I know
Sorry,
they're all waiting for you over there. We like the power of holding you
holding
and
you.
making
that's
them
fair.
all wait
Yeah, that's fine.
for the manager's
We're
time.
still early. There you go. Yeah, plenty of
Oh,
time.
good.
Are
Are we?
we?
Okay.
Well, as long as you're still here. I heard Rob Manfred was here today.
Yeah,
did you
Commissioner
get to
Manfred
talk
was
to
here.
him at all?
I
he say
did. I
anything?
asked
Did you
him.
scream at him or anything?
Yeah.
I didn't. I was very polite. That office has been good to me. They have taken my money in the past a little bit.
Sure.
But rightfully so.
Fine.
All right.
Yeah,
you don't have to share what goes. I just wanted. Did someone ask him about the pants? Did anyone bring up the pants?
No, it was not a
You haven't
pant.
gotten your pants yet.
Yeah, no, we haven't got our pants yet.
Yeah, that's fair. So we'll reserve judgment.
Oh my God.
But we are grateful to have them.
Sure.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
exactly.
true. Yeah.
Make sure the boys wear sliders. Underneath said
Yeah.
some things out on the
It's a family show.
on the internet.
Yeah, it's a family show. But no, the commissioner was great. I really appreciate the fact that he's willing to come in and speak to the group.
Sure.
And the room's the room. It'll stay in the room, but just him coming in, I think it's healthy for him to be able to have dialogue with the players. I think that's important.
I noticed he ducked us, so I'm not surprised. He didn't want
come
that
right
smoke
by
this
here.
morning. So,
Whisked him in
they
and out.
whisked him out
they
the other
did.
way.
Yeah, no,
smart.
yeah.
Very, very smart.
Right.
Smart move on their part.
I got checked into a wall by a security guy, but it's okay.
Awesome.
I'm a tough guy.
Well, let's let him get to
Yeah,
his
Mike,
media.
we
We'll
look
do
forward
dinner.
to following the journey along
Look
with
forward to
you
it.
this season. It's good
My
to talk to
privilege,
you in
guys.
person, and
Yeah,
we'll be here for the next couple of days, so feel free to say hi anytime you walk on by.
I absolutely will.
Mike
Enjoy your
Shildt,
day.
manager of the San Diego Padres, with us. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We've got more. Don't do this coming up. Stay tuned. More from Padres spring training in Peoria, Arizona with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, we have had a great morning so far. It's about to get a little bit better. Do not go anywhere. We've got the great Mud Grant standing by. He'll join us right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So for the first time this season, you'll be able to watch Padres baseball on Padres.tv is the new outlet featuring none other than Don Orsillo and the broadcaster joining us right now, the great Mud Grant. Have you ever been on a .tv before, Mud? This is the first time?
I don't believe so. I remember telling my mom a long time ago, hey, I'm going to be on TV someday. And she said, the only way you're going to be on TV is if I set you up on top of it.
The great.
But the only reason why I came with you
Grant.
guys today, I was trying to listen to the ads in between.
Yeah.
I need to get that number for the ED thing, for
Dude,
the
I got
number
it for
thing.
you.
West
You
Coast
got-
Men's
West
Health,
Coast
yeah.
Men's Health.
Okay.
.com.
Yeah.
Let them know
Okay.
Woodsy
Acoustic
sent you.
wave therapy. Woods can hook you up for sure.
Treatments don't hurt at all.
No?
No. Yeah, I mean, you get your alternatives pump, which nobody wants to do that. You talk about a mood killer. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'll run to the bathroom. Nobody wants that. And then the Viagra, it's like, well, what if you take one and the missus says, never mind. And then that's not a fun evening. So
And then when it lasts, what is it, more than 6 hours?
more
You
than
have to
6
consult your
hours.
doctor.
Your head
Yeah.
starts to
That's an
hurt.
awkward conversation.
This is
Right.
This is much better.
Right.
Some guys like us, much better for us.
Hey, first pitch 105 here this afternoon.
12:05 back in San
12:05
Diego.
back
We
in
have
San
not-
Diego. Yes, but I'm just excited to be back in the booth
Sure,
with
man.
Donnie and teaching a little baseball, talking about the brown and gold. And I know everybody has anticipation and expectations.
Yep.
But that's the beauty of this game. And you guys well know the way things went last year. You saw signs. I'm one of these where, a new year's a new year. You know, does September really, does it give you momentum for next? Well, it gives you a sense of things can be turned around.
Sure.
That's the beauty of this game, though. The expectations the last couple of years for this club was
To the roof.
the parade down Broadway, right?
Yep.
Well, now it's like, okay, sure, but that's the beauty of the game, to where you never know what happens.
For you
It
guys,
could be one of those magical years.
for you guys, Mud, last year, it was the only way I can describe it is excruciating.
Torture.
It was torture. Like, it's beautiful. It's baseball. We love it. We love our squad. But to cover it, we'd come in on a Monday. We were about to win our fourth game in a row, and then they drop it on Sunday. And we come and we're like, this is unbelievable. So for you guys, I mean, I know you feel it too. Last year was just as weird as it could possibly get.
I always tell people I would have lost 3 bets. If I were to have $1 million on each bet, I would have walked away with no money.
Same.
The extra inning stat.
Yep.
The
one-run game.
winning 3 games in a row.
Or 4, yeah.
And then what was the other one?
One-run game.
One-run games.
Yeah.
And then how about this one as well? The Grand Slam. Wasn't it for not till August?
Yeah.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
late August? First Grand Slam.
Yep. It was like full of anomalies, the entire season. It was tough.
And I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not in the fortune telling business, but it just goes to show you that last year was such a conundrum and such a head scratcher that I have reason to believe that for a team to experience that 2 years in a row, the tide can turn, and you never know how this game of baseball, like any sport, how it can turn on a dime.
No question. And you've seen Mud. We're talking to Mud Grant here on Ben and Woods this morning. You've seen guys come through spring training for many years now. So have we. We've been covering this team now out here, seeing these guys and hearing these names. And you go out and see them. The guys that are kind of on the bubble, the guys that they're talking about to break through the next level. All I ever hear about these guys, the Marcies, the Motorellas, the Paulies, all those guys, some of the young pitchers, dudes, these guys are studs. And, you got to do it at the highest level, but so far so good for a lot of these guys.
I think the experience of just being here, being in that room, getting dressed with the big leaguers and what it takes, there's a couple of things. One is, wow, it's the big leagues, but it is spring training. But secondly, you sit back and you think to yourself, boy, these guys, they're pretty much just like me. They're talented, they're uber talented because they've been here for a long time. But my point is, you walk into a clubhouse and you realize that some player, teammate, the way he acts, the way he talks, the way he goes about his business. You know what? That's the way I am, right? So it's just a matter of going out there and executing and having these kids go out there and getting some ABs and some innings. For instance, Jackson Merrill, great athlete. I hear he's a great kid. Will he succeed in left field? If he is, in fact, the left fielder, well, who knows? But I tell you what, if Mike Shildt sits down with him and says, hey, you know, you're going to be believe me, his confidence is going to skyrocket. He's going to do everything in his power to get out there and face big league pitching. Yeah. Can he face the big league pitching? That remains to be seen. But I'm excited. I talked to a lot of people in the minor leagues, coaches and administration guys, and they say that they couldn't be happier right now with the loads of talent that they have down there. Yeah. But then again, it is the minor leagues. You got to prove it at the big league level. That's 100%. Where you pay the dividends.
Yep.
Today marks the beginning of your 29th year as a broadcaster in Major League Baseball after your playing career. Do you still, you work on anything like the off season, or is it at this
point?
Work
on your craft.
Yeah. Is there anything like, I want to do this year differently?
I read comic books all off season. And just...
Why do I believe that, actually?
No, I think one of the greatest things that you could ever do for yourself to help you learn more is to read as much as you can. And I listen to you guys in the morning as well to try to learn something.
You learn nothing there. It's fine.
That just to keep up. And we are so lucky these days to have the access of MLB.com.
Yep.
Stories like when Mike Shildt talks every morning, AJ Cassavell, Dennis Lynn, Kevin Acey, they read their stuff. So, yeah, a little bit here and there. Try to, as much as I can, to just keep a hand on the pulse.
You listen to Woods to hear how he makes fun of me.
Correct.
To help you
make fun of
Don a little bit more. I see
very
where
similar.
you're coming from now.
I wanted to ask you this question, and I asked some of the guys when we were out here at Fantasy Camp, the old school guys. I did, and it bothered me. It resonated with me so much this year at camp to hear some of the guys from maybe even the generation before you, that they don't like baseball anymore. And that breaks my heart. Yeah. It really does. Yeah. And there was like this, I have this urge to bring, Flan back to the game.
Is he a treat or what?
He's the greatest, man. He's the greatest. But he's like, Goose Gossage is like, And I'm like, how have you been able to embrace the changes in baseball, and how come so many of your former compatriots haven't been able to?
I've learned through the years to embrace change. I think change is good. I think it's inevitable.
Yes.
And we have to adjust.
Yeah.
If Rich Gossage or Tim Flannery or Tim Lawler or somebody, that's their opinion.
Sure.
And I get it. I really get it. But in the business that I'm in, I need to adjust. I want to adjust because I still want to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I still enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I would like to see a little bit more of the strategic type baseball to where, let's face it, the lineup has changed.
Oh, yeah.
Gone are the days where the guys, leading off the little pesky Brett Butler, right? Right?
Choke way up.
Right.
Just bounce if you have two
and if you
the
walk
other
them,
way.
it's a double.
Yeah.
It's just the game has changed. It's the 3-outcome game, right? But I still get that feel of being a little kid going to the ball yard every day.
Yep.
And I know it sounds corny, it sounds cliche, but you hear that crack of the bat, and you hear the ball in the glove, you hear the spikes on the concrete, and it's still a great game, but it has changed. There's no doubt about it. And I have a tendency, I have to, and I want to embrace it, and I think I have over the years.
I think you have too. I think you have, and I think and I have as well.
It's been a learning process. I'm all, as I get older, I want to learn as much as I can about everything.
Yeah.
And our vocation being broadcasters, we need to adjust and learn. And it's been quite a journey.
Sure.
My concern now, you guys have the game today, probably about 3 hours. Will Don have time to prepare our meal for us?
Yes.
Because I want to go to Donatangelo's, Arizona.
You know what? I think it's shut down.
Is it going to get shut down?
Because
code violation? What's going on?
he got a D rating. The A card you see in the win. I think he got a D rating. And there was some
uncooked shellfish, something going on there.
Was he cooking in our Airbnb?
But he and we're flying back tonight, and then coming like back and forth. It's really kind of a funky type spring training because of the TV situation, which I know nothing about.
Sure.
I just show up when I'm supposed to show
tell
up.
me where to be.
And then the Korea thing. Of course, we're going to be broadcasting from Korea too as well.
I'm
I'm really looking.
Don and Bud
Yeah.
take on
So,
Korea.
so how about
videos.
this? So one of the things
I want to see Korean
here's what
barbecue. I want to see it all.
Here's what I want to do. I want to go to the DMZ.
Between North Korea and South Korea.
Yes,
Is that
because
safe?
there are tours.
Really?
I believe they have tours. I've watched videos on this on YouTube to where I mean it's creepy.
Test
it's
missiles
eerie.
flying over your head.
It's weird, but I'm kind of like into that.
You want to see it?
I've watched documentaries on North Korea, and it's once again learning more about whatever. And
it's right there, like outside of
it's
Seoul.
like 35
very
miles
close,
from
right?
Seoul.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a curb for separating North and South Korea. And there's guards there, and it's like, the dark side on the north, and then on the back side, the south, it's like, people are just doing their thing and whatever. But it's something that
You're looking forward to this trip.
I am not so much the flight.
Yeah, flight.
No one's looking forward to a
But I'm looking
flight. But
I think it's 14 or
14 hours,
maybe.
What
Yeah.
do you do?
I will get up and walk around a lot.
Show videos to people on his phone.
Yeah.
The
Check
whole
this
time.
out. Hey, you
Yeah.
ever see the Blues Brothers? Check that out.
I watched the Blues Brothers the other night. I'll tell you what, probably hands down one of the best movies ever made. Think about it. Blues Brothers. Okay, here's my critique on Blues Brothers. Seriously. Storyline, cast, music.
Fantastic.
Music, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It is. I just
Isn't it?
I just showed Bo Fletch for the first time.
Oh, I watched Fletch the other night.
It's all about
I
Barry.
don't want my wages garnished. Oh no.
Open your raincoat.
Mrs. Stanwyck.
It's his favorite now. He loves it.
There's so many sleeper lines in
So
Fletch.
many.
Chevy Chase is so good. Like
B-A-B-A-R.
remember he's in the house, Sally Ann Kavanaugh's house, and he's looking around. He's in the kitchen, and he just happens to turn, and there's like a 3-dome light in the kitchen. And just all of a sudden he gets in there, and it's like
caught.
It's like caught in it. He's trying. His slapstick and it's amazing.
I don't want to have full rank on you. I'm with the Master's Police.
This is for the cops. I'm gonna call the cops.
I'm telling you, man. See, this is I'm now passing that on to my 6-year-old.
That's a rite of passage.
Absolutely.
There are certain movies. How old's Bo now?
6.
Oh,
He watches inappropriate things all the time.
We just watched Roadhouse the other night.
Really?
So, yeah,
Right.
He's fine.
Roadhouse. Wow. Yeah, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the name of the club? Oh, it was
Double Deuce. Double Deuce. Yeah, he loved it.
But Blues Brothers, man, gosh, that ain't no Hank Williams song. Excuse me, ma'am. We're with the band. We're just wondering, what kind of music do you play here? Oh, we play both kinds, country and western.
He'll go all day. He'll go. This is the flight to Korea.
Did I show you the pictures?
No.
Did I show you the pictures of when I went back to Joliet to visit my mom
Oh, did you?
and dad, and
I just saw
went-
the Prellers.
See,
were
now
here
the
today, too,
locals-
speaking of
the
mom and dad.
locals-
yeah.
in Joliet, we call the prison where Jake comes out.
Yep.
That's to the locals the Collins Street prison because it's on Collins Street
In Joliet.
in Joliet, Illinois. So but the big pen, the big Stateville, which it's not Statesville,
The big house.
it's Stateville.
Ooh,
It's,
it looks like
um,
Shawshank.
Yeah, I know the
My
limestone
God.
there. It's beautiful, and there's me outside.
There's you outside
And
the
here's the-
prison
and
doing
here's-
selfies.
And here's the shot where Elwood comes out.
Oh, there
Jake
it
comes
is.
out.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Hold it up to the camera.
Yeah. Well,
so it's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mudd, I know you have intense preparation for today's
Oh,
broadcast.
it's- I'm
to get
just up to my
so
ears
We'll
and-
let you go. We're at the
yeah.
top of the hour. It's always
Did
good
I
to see
take too
you.
much time?
No,
you're
you're perfect. Perfect amount of time, as
All
always.
right, hey, go Padres.
Keep in touch with
Go
yourself.
Padres.
Hey.
Padres.tv with Don
Shocker
Orsillo, 105 Mountain, 1205 Pacific. Today, their first broadcast of spring training. Check your local listings for all the rest of the broadcasts. The rest of spring training with Don and Mudd coming up. We've got 1 hour to go still here at Padres Spring Training in Peoria. We'll get to a little, maybe don't do this since Maz takes talk in our final hour is, players are on the workout. Get a little update, injury update for Mike Shildt as well on Yuki Matsui. He shed some information after he left us with the press conference scrum a second ago. So we'll get to that coming up as well. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. Final hour of Ben and Woods, our first day at spring training, flying by. Just talked to the great Mud Grant. Padres taking on the Guardians later today. And we'll see Joe Musgrove on the mound for the second time, Woods. And Michael King will make his first Cactus League appearance after throwing on backfields. I thought it was interesting. Michael King speaking to the UT and talking about his goal for this season is 180 innings.
Okay.
Which is a big jump. He threw just over 100 last year coming out of the bullpen and then making a few starts at the end of the season for the Yankees. That's traditionally a bigger jump than most modern baseball teams would ask from a pitcher, to go from 100 to 108. Like 100 to 130 or 40 is a little more reasonable. We'll see.
Sounds like that's his goal, though, yeah?
That is his goal,
Yeah.
and he does not want to be limited. Like Seth Lugo last year, who was transitioning from the bullpen to a starter role.
He didn't want to hear any
He
of that,
didn't want to
man.
hear any of the limitations. Now, I think Lugo ended up around 140 innings because he missed that month with the calf I
Yep.
think, injury that he had, so it kind of ended up limiting him. But remember, down the stretch, everyone's saying, well, probably nearing the end of Seth Lugo. And Lugo's no, it's not.
I think he went out and threw like 8.
He threw great all the way
he
through the
was-
season.
he was
And,
great.
and Michael King's kind of taking that attitude that he thinks his value, especially as a number 3 starter, which is, randomly assigned number, but you figure it'll be Musgrove, Darvish, and then King will be the number 3 guy. He says, yeah, I want to dominate, but you need to provide innings. If you're going to be a top 3 starter in
100%,
baseball,
man.
you can't just be going out for 115 innings and go, yeah, they were really good innings, though. It's like, yeah, but then you're putting all this pressure on the bullpen, all these innings that they have to pick up behind you if you're not carrying your weight with a good deal of, quantity during your season.
Yeah, and it's just going to be, the thing that keeps Mike Shildt and Dave Roberts and every other manager in baseball up at night. What can I get from my starter? What can I get from my bullpen? How many days can I, the Rays, we see it every year, how they manipulate their starting pitching. And does it always work for them? Sure, it works for them in the regular season, Ben. What happens when they get to October? They had the run in the short season, but other than that, man, it's you got to get depth from your starters, and they all know that. And the fact that he set his goal so high, that means that guy cares. That guy wants to. That's what he wants to be.
And I liked what Ruben Niebla said as well. And he didn't say, no, you can't do 180, but he also said, we're going to watch him very carefully. We're not going to push things. We're going to ask him, how he's feeling. We're going to check velocity. We're going to check mechanics to see if they're changing.
Yep.
And if he's tired, and there needs to be a little break at some point, because we want these guys throwing well in September and hopefully October. You can't say, I need to throw 180 innings, but then you get to mid-September and you're like falling off the map, and the Padres are, fighting for a wild card spot, maybe go to the playoffs. You have to save some in the tank. For a team that really does want to compete for a postseason spot, you got to have those guys still ready to pitch 6 months from now, not just forced to throw that many innings. So there's always a balance there. And, the Padres will be keeping a close eye on King and, obviously Brito and Vasquez are other guys who don't have a lot of innings built up. So if they're in the starting rotation, it's going to be a juggling act to try to cover the innings that they're going to need over the course of the season.
And I think that's what, if it's hard, because as a fan, you're like, all right, well, who's today's starter and what can he give us? But when you're an organization, when you're a skipper and a GM, you need to be thinking about it. How many times have we seen this team run out of pitching at the end of the year? And all the innings we're trying to replace, it's going to be difficult. That's the thing that gives me a little bit of agita, Ben, if I'm thinking about it right now. When you start breaking it down like that, not only is Michael King shooting for a record high, Joe Musgrove's got to get back to where he was, and Yu Darvish needs to get back to where he was.
He only threw Musgrove, a little over 100 last year because of the various injuries. Yu Darvish was shut down early, so
you can't even overstate how important Waka and Lugo were,
and Martinez really too.
Yeah. It just, you can't overstate it, what those guys were able to do. And I know they didn't make the playoffs or anything, but oh my God, it could have gone so much worse with those injuries to the top 2 pitchers. And Blake Snell as well, 180 innings for him.
Speaking of pitching injuries, little update from Mike Shildt after he talked to us. He went in front of the scrum and had an update on.
That was 10 seconds.
It was
long.
the shortest
What
scrum
happened?
ever. No one had any questions. It was
what?
So they asked about Yuki Matsui,
right? The back,
and Mike said he'd had some imaging
Guy
done.
gets his first one. He goes, "That's it."
Had an MRI. showed no structural damage, some inflammation. So, they're going to treat him cautiously, but that was mostly good news that there was nothing structurally there. It's not an injury that he's ever dealt with before, I guess. So kind of a new thing that they're looking at with Yuki Matsui in the back spasms, but generally positive news for Mike Shildt. And then kind of looked at everyone and no one jumped in with a question. And everyone fought the urge, which is hard in this as a member of the media, to fill the silence and just ask something kind of dumb and unimportant to extend the session a little bit. But no one did that. They all said, you know what? I don't have anything else to ask.
Okay.
And it just ended after like 4 minutes, and it was done.
Was it even 4 minutes?
Might have not even.
I think
been
it was
4.
like 60 seconds.
You were doing a spot, and by the time the spot was over,
it was over.
They were done.
It was
very
certainly
fast.
less than 2 minutes.
It was
Holy
mostly
cow.
about Yuki Matsui's health situation.
Okay.
And that's what was addressed, and
Well,
they pretty much moved on.
sitting here racking my brain thinking what I would have asked. Probably nothing else. I mean, tomorrow you'll have more questions.
But we had plenty of questions for him. We had him on for 10, 12 minutes
Yeah.
before he sat with them. And the 14 other people who were up there, they couldn't come up with a single question. So Ben and Woods win the day
Incredible.
on questions for Mike Shildt, the manager.
Just an incredible start to fantasy camp for your boys here.
Stop calling it fantasy camp.
I'm sorry, spring training. Sorry.
I
don't know why
mean,
call it fantasy camp.
it's
fantasy camp for me.
it's a fantasy come true for all of us
It really
to be
is.
here. But
It
it's also
really
a
is.
job for them. And they're getting ready. They get paid and stuff. You didn't get paid
Oh, look who's
to
here.
be here.
Hi, handsome. How you doing?
Riley Westman
Riley
walking
Westman?
by.
How are you, buddy?
How you doing, man?
You jumping
how
on
are
with us
you?
this week or what?
Whatever you want.
All right.
We're gonna run it up a flagpole.
Yeah. I mean,
What?
the big man. He's
Oh, you want one? Yeah, you can have one.
He's AJ Preller. We just saw earlier today. His parents
Yeah.
are in town. They were at the game yesterday, and I haven't got to meet them officially, but Mr. and Mrs. Preller here at spring training with their son AJ.
Your parents ever come to work?
I've never. I mean, at some point, I'm sure they've been to a remote or something, but
My dad's
They
come
tend
to
to keep
Has
their
my dad come to
distance.
the studio before?
Yeah,
yeah.
Gary's been in the
They
studio
came to
before.
watch.
I mean, they're always welcome, but
Yeah.
spring
Well,
training's the time for it. If
You
that's going
get
to happen,
really nervous when my kids come in.
yeah.
Not so much my parents.
Your kids are
Heathens.
liable to say things that could get us in trouble.
That is
Whereas
true.
I'm not so worried about Gary Woods saying something that's going to get us in trouble on the air.
That is true.
Let me do a little bit of college basketball. Aztecs easy win. I know you both texted me. Are the Aztecs going to cover the 13-point spread? And I go, probably not. I mean, on the road they haven't been covering any spreads or even winning any games on the road. So why would you think that they just shoot lights out, make everything, and win by 30? But they did. 32-point victory over Fresno State on Saturday night. A win they had to have. That would have been a very bad loss. Like New Mexico suffered a horrifically bad loss on Saturday against Air Force at home. Like one that puts them back on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. That's what you want to avoid now if you're the Aztecs. You have avoided a bad loss all season long. Don't take one here in the last 2 weeks of the season. They play home to San Jose State tomorrow night. I mean, I don't even know what the spread will be. Probably 20+ for that game. San Jose State is not good, but they almost took them to overtime up at San Jose earlier this year. So you cannot let up. You cannot have what happened to New Mexico, losing at home to an inferior team at the bottom of the conference standings. You can't let that happen. The good thing is Brian Dutcher tends to communicate that message well to his players. Like, take this game lightly at your own risk. This is the most dangerous game we're going to play all season long. So don't come out thinking, we're going to blow this team's
When's that
out
next
of the
game?
water. Tomorrow night.
It's
like 9:00 Mountain Time.
When was
So
the game? It was Saturday.
be late
right?
for us.
The game was on
Saturday. Yeah,
Oh my
Saturday
God.
night against Fresno State.
Yeah, I walked in and was like, holy smokes. Turns out getting off to a good start and making
12-0
baskets
is nice.
Very, very
29
beneficial.
to 5 or something.
Takes
Pretty good start.
Takes the home crowd out of it completely, and you can cruise to a victory. What was the final?
It was 73-41.
I mean, it was never in doubt, that game. Never in
The
doubt.
only thing in doubt was whether Fresno would get to 40 points or not in that game.
And let's be honest, man. If there was a team in college basketball that needed a win like that, it was the San Diego State Aztecs. They really needed one of those blowouts, the one that says, no, this is who we are. This is who we can be. It was never in doubt.
Team shoots like that.
Oh, forget it. And it's not always going to happen that way and that easy, but holy smokes, that game was a breeze.
They've been waiting for them for a couple of weeks now. They have just been not shooting the three ball very well and for them to click on all cylinders like that, you're like, okay, this is what the team is capable of, and that's what makes them so frustrating sometimes.
100%.
And I'll make the outlandish prediction that even though they lost at Utah State last week, that the Aztecs will remain in the top 25 in about an hour when the new polls come out this morning. I think the road win and the fact that there were a bunch of other teams in the top 25 and on the outside of the top 25 that lost last week, they won't drop from number 19 all the way out of the top 25. I still think they'll be around 20 to 23 when the new poll comes out today.
What do we have? We're not getting any more players today, right? They're all.
I don't think
They're
so.
mostly on the field. I see some bullpen sessions going on.
I think
in
I'm
front
gonna
of us
work
right now.
on getting Don Orsillo over here because you heard Mud say they're
flying out.
after
So
today.
yeah, this is it. If we're gonna get Don, this is the day we have to get him. So pressure's on. now.
Yeah, that's right.
Pressure's on to get Don because he won't be here tomorrow and Wednesday if he's flying back to San Diego. Has to be today. Has to be Orsillo time coming up.
Yeah. Did he text you back, Paulie?
I'm working on it.
All right. Paulie's working on the great Don Arcillo, who dodges us all the way.
I mean, if we
all
don't
the
get,
time.
honestly, if we don't get him between now and 10 o'clock,
We're toast.
we
Next
have to
year.
We have to tape him later today.
Like tape him up.
No, like record him. Record
to a chair.
Tape him to a chair.
Don't let him leave Arizona. Kidnap him, hold him hostage at our Airbnb all night to make sure he's on the air tomorrow morning.
Let's be honest. He's probably not the first guy that's been held hostage in that Airbnb. If we're being completely honest with our audience, it's probably happened many times. Probably on the sheets that I picked up and put into the washer.
You wore gloves, right?
Well, I did not wear gloves.
I was surprised you picked those up. I wasn't going to touch them.
I honestly
It was
don't know.
never
going
gonna
to
happen.
Somebody could have diarrhea on them. I mean, I have no idea what happened on those. God. I did feel itchy most of the night.
You didn't lay on anything.
No, but I jumped in the
After
pool.
jumping in that pool.
I think there was.
I mean, it was chlorinated, I'm assuming.
I think it was over chlorinated because I was all itchy and scratchy, and it was not a pleasurable experience.
Speaking of the Aztecs, we do have some tickets to give away, Paulie. Is that correct?
Yes.
Let's do that right now since we were talking about the Aztecs. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow night's game against San Jose State. Frank is standing by for the fourth caller at 833-288-0973. Call now, 833-288-0973. Get a pair of tickets for tomorrow night's game against the Spartans. Tickets are on sale now at goaztecs.com. Go and fill up VS Arena. Only 2 more home games left this season. Then the Mountain West Tournament and then the NCAA Tournament coming up. So your last couple of chances to see the San Diego State Aztecs still in the top 25, and I hope still in the top 25 an hour from now, taking on San Jose State tomorrow night. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll try to track down Don Orsillo. Maybe a little don't do this as well. Haven't got to that as well. Court storming this weekend in college basketball. They're trying to come up with a way to ban it now. It's taking its toll. It's taking a casualty, and people are up in arms. So we'll get to that coming up after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
You're a dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this. Brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego, verified. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Crafttaco.com. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to give away a couple more tickets here to spring training in Peoria, Arizona. Qualify another listener for the overnight getaway here in the next couple of weeks to come join us here in Arizona. First, though, little DDT, and I will start in college basketball with another court storming incident. Now, remember, Caitlin Clark of Iowa was collided with an unknown woman during an Ohio State victory celebration a month ago. And then this weekend, as Wake Forest pulled off an upset of number 8 Duke, Duke's star, Kyle Filipowski, was pretty much run over by the Demon Deacons fans.
Is that what you saw?
That's what I saw.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
Because I saw a difference. I saw a different
I mean,
angle.
the overhead angle.
The overhead looks like.
I mean, yeah,
But
he's
again,
ready to defend himself, but there's
you're-
an onslaught of a
you're
bunch
ro-
of fans. He's in the middle of the court.
You're going one way. They're all running at you. I get it. I get it.
I mean, I saw there was an aggressive move there of him to
Which, by the way,
I think this very justified. He ended up twisting a knee, though, in the situation.
sucks.
Duke coach John Shire was incensed. Said
100%.
the court storming practice needs to come to an end. You know my position on this. There's really never a good look for court storming. Even if your team won, if fans storm the court, you're basically saying we didn't think our team should have won this game. We're so surprised our team won that
That
we're
we
going to
stormed
run
the court.
down and storm the court. So you really should never be storming the court. If you're at home and you beat a great opponent, own it. Yeah, we expected to win
that's
that game.
what we do.
That's what they do at San Diego State at Viejas Arena now, and other schools should really follow suit. But, now players are getting hurt, and there's really no way for security to necessarily stop it. I mean, what are you going to do? Erect barricades like they do at soccer games?
I saw somebody talk about, well, there needs to be a temporary partition and all that's just, you're talking about drunk college kids.
They already fine schools for court storms, but that's what is fans are going to be thinking about fines when they're running down. Not really. Just got to be something that they take out of college sports.
How do you take it out, though?
I don't know. Snipers.
And you know,
snipers.
Yes, snipers, Ben. Stun guns. The old casino trick with the
caliprod
under the elbow.
Yeah, you rock onto the court.
Under
You're
the
going to be
armpit.
You're going to be sorry.
You will be cattle prodded. This is a crazy story. You guys saw the video of Cam Newton, former NFL quarterback, was
What
at
the
a
hell?
Dude, it was crazy. They were at a 7-on-7 football event, and it was for We Ball Sports. It's an apparel and sports media company. The youth, under 15 and under 18 teams in Georgia and Alabama together for a competitive tournament. So he is a founder of C1N, which is a program that participated, probably had a booth out there. So from the video that I saw, he's standing at the top of these steps. 2 guys walk up and approach him. One guy grabs him. He rips his arm away, like, don't put your hands on me. And the next thing you know, another guy walks up, takes a wild swing at Cam. Cam's got one guy by the shirt, drags him around the tent, and now it's a melee. Now, Cam Newton stands, I believe he's 6'5", 245.
It's a well-built guy.
He is built like a brick S-house. You don't want to mess with him. And it took 3 men attacking him, and they still never brought him to the ground. So, obviously, look, youth sports are insane. They're insane at almost every level. I am at the very
tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear as far as T-ball goes. No parents are yelling at me about playing time because they all play. No parents are yelling at me about where their kid plays because they all just run into the field. I have told my wife, we had a conversation about it this
They're like
weekend.
goats just running
they're
around.
goats. I told her this weekend, I said, I'm taking both through T-ball and I'm taking them through machine, and then I'm done. And I'm taking Taylor through T-ball and machine, and I'm done.
Mike Shildt can handle it the rest of the
And
way.
she said to me, well, and I said, I will never forget the first time I ever met Trevor Hoffman standing down the line watching his sons play. And I asked him, he goes, I don't want to be involved in this. Those are their coaches. I'm here to watch, be a dad, and root for my kids. And I went, that is the right attitude to have. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know that I have the stomach for it, but this is what youth sports have come to. Full-scale brawls with grown men about a 15-year-old football game. It is ridiculous. So in a joint statement, the Athletic reports top shelf performance trainers, coaches say we are deeply concerned about the recent incident involving Cam Newton. Thoughts are with all parties affected. Violence has no place in our community, and we strongly condemn any form of aggression. So I don't know. It looked to me that Cam was kind of in the right here.
Right.
Men were kind of
But when you're a
confronting
prominent
him.
figure, you've got to figure out ways not to even
I guess
get involved.
at a youth event.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, finally, some do this on a Monday. And a salute out, with or without our DD Mega Doo-Doo, to a great football writer and a former weekly Ben and Woods guest in the very early stages of our show.
Yeah.
Peter King announced his retirement today after 44 years of sports writing. He turned in his final Football Morning in America column today and said, I am done. I have spent a lot of time. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just be bored for a little while. But after so many years, he said, I got to the Super Bowl and I'm going, I just don't want to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
And just be like everybody else for a while. And
I hear
he
you.
doesn't know if it's going to stick, if he's going to do anything else, but he is going to at least step back from the weekly Football Morning in America column that he has written for so many years. Now, you're probably thinking, if you didn't listen to us in the early days of our show, Ben and Woods interviewed Peter King every week. Peter King was terrific. He is the easiest interview.
Do you remember the bit?
Yes. We'd ask a question, and Woods would run around the building 7 times to see if he could get back before Peter's answer ended, and he always did.
It's a true story.
Because Peter would give some of the longest, most detailed answers
He's a dream.
you could ever imagine in radio interview history.
Coming up next on the show, Peter King, and we are out of here.
I mean, we'd have
it would be like
15-minute
Peter King-
segments with maybe 3 questions.
No, not even that many.
Two
Two
questions?
2 to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you would be like, so Peter, watching the Packers game last night, what did you make of Aaron Rodgers' decision making there in the fourth quarter? 5 minutes would go by.
Yeah, and he'll dump like 17 notes in there as well,
It's
and all
awesome.
kinds of things. You didn't need to do anything
It was a dream.
when you had Peter King on the air. He
It
would
was a
just
dream.
do it all himself. Wind him up. He goes. You take a nice little break. We just relax. Woods would do a little exercise in, run around the building.
Yep.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So he wanted to salute and fond farewell and best wishes to Peter King, retiring after more than 40 years as an NFL sports.
One of the best in the biz, man.
And that's Don't and Do This for a Monday.
That
All right.
was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Got another opportunity here. We did it a few weeks ago, and then Annie and Elston gave away some tickets, and then Gwen and Chris gave away some tickets. We got one more week of winners for a pair of tickets to see your home team in a spring training game at the Peoria Sports Complex. And if you win, you'll also be qualified for the grand prize flyaway trip for 2, including the spring training tickets, a Southwest gift card, and a one-night hotel stay. Maybe over across the street where we were tonight, made possible by the Peoria Sports Complex. Visit PeoriaBaseball.com. Be the 5th caller right now at 833-288-0973. Win the tickets and get qualified for the flyaway trip here to spring training, which obviously has to happen in the next couple of weeks because you get to like March 13th and they're on their way to Korea. So this is the next couple of weeks kind of thing. But call now, 833-288-0973 for your chance to win.
All right.
I got bad news, guys.
Oh, no. Don?
No Don.
No Don.
He profusely apologizes,
He
but
ducked us again.
it is their first broadcast today of the spring,
Yeah.
and MLB is wearing him out with
I get it.
meetings.
I
Get
get
the
it.
tape. Stick like your finger like it's a gun.
Yes.
Yeah, like in Field of Dreams.
Like this.
That's not
No,
a
it's a
gun.
gun.
It's a finger. It's your
No,
finger.
it's a gun. I'm not going to show you my gun. Why would I show you my gun?
Don, you're coming on the air with us. Whether you like it or not, you're coming on the air. I don't care what other commitments
Get
you
your
have.
ass over to the table
It's not
right now.
Is that a gun? It's your finger.
It's literally our only chance to interview him ever because he will never come on it. All right, tell him, no problem. the guys say you got to make one appearance this year
All
on
right.
the show in the morning.
We'll go track him down after the show.
Oh yeah, we'll tell him. We'll tell him.
Moonlight Graham.
Don't wind him up. Go to break.
We'll come back. Final segment of Ben and Woods from spring training next on 97.3 The Fan.
You're okay. We're almost
boy.
there. We're
Oh,
almost home.
boy.
It's
Oh,
almost home.
boy.
Now he wants to talk. 6 hours in the car. Guy wouldn't say 2 words. We could, you know what we could have done? We could have planned this segment in that 6-hour car ride.
I have a plan for the segment. You're nixing the plan for the segment, and I have no idea why.
I'm at Padres spring training. I don't want to talk about the St. Louis Cardinals.
But that's our Tier 1 tour stop today.
But we can catch up on
We
those
planned-
on Thursday.
All right.
We planned
Here's
it
a Tier
all
1
out.
tour. It's the
One
Cardinal
per-
way. They're the
They're
greatest.
the
One
greatest,
per
best
day.
franchise ever.
They just signed a bunch of old pitchers.
One per day until the start of the season. It was meticulously plotted out
It was.
by me and Paulie to make sure that it would get right to the right day.
I feel dirty out
And,
here.
I
doing
mean,
it.
we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but
Okay.
why not just do it?
Okay, let's do it.
First, I will say that you still have a chance to win a $10,000 trip to see your favorite team play across the seas.
6 hours.
Play the new Soapy Joe's AR game and immerse yourself with your own customized Chief Bubble Officer Tony Gwynn Jr. baseball card, win prizes, and more. Learn how at any Soapy Joe's location across San Diego or at soapyjoescarwash.com. All right, we'll check traffic. Fire up the Tier 1 tour bus. I finally won an argument here. We'll do it very quickly on the St. Louis Cardinals, and we'll be right back here on 97.3 The Fan.
The bus is humming
The
along.
bus is humming along. Doesn't it make you happy to hear the bus sound?
I do
at
like the
very
bus
least?
sound. You're right.
Everyone likes the bus sound. And the St. Louis Cardinals are a team coming off a miserably bad season.
Yep.
Yeah, by their standards, by anyone's standards, really, 71-91 last year. Last place finish in the National League Central did not cost manager Ollie Marmol his job, though. I am sure he is on the hot seat.
His seat
coming
is
into this season, though.
very, very, very hot in St. Louis.
After replacing the guy that we talked to earlier this morning, Mike Shildt. And now Shildt, of course, the manager of the Padres, and Marmol facing a bounce-back year. Now, they could definitely bounce back with a little bit of health, with good seasons from stars like does this sound familiar to you? Get some good seasons from stars like Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado.
Yes.
Guys that you expect to do well. Wilson Contreras had a rough first year with them as well. Bounce back there. You could certainly see the Cardinals playing for that division title in a weak NL Central this year.
Again, their move of the offseason's got to be Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is a really, really nice piece for them. Top of their rotation, and he's going to pair with
They have
Miles.
some olds. The
They
pitching
do.
olds
They
have collected are impressive.
So now Sonny Gray he's a little long in the tooth. He's 34, but Miles Michaelis is 35, Kyle Gibson 36, Lance Lynn almost 37, Steven Matz
The youngster of the group
youngster
at almost 33 years old.
at 32. Back end of their bullpen will be Ryan Helsley, who is absolutely nasty. He has completely stolen the Hell's Bells from Trevor Hoffman, uses that as his intro. I think we asked Trevor about it. Trevor said he was fine with it. But yeah, I mean, the bullpen should be good. And their rotation, I mean, again, Ben, those are all guys that have done it, though. I mean, look at their projected innings, right? Wouldn't we kill for this? Projected innings, 175 for Gray, 182 from Michaelis, 175 from Gibson, 175 from Lance Lynn. Steven Matz coming in at the lowest at 115. But that's a lot of innings those cats are going to be eating up, and that's kind of what we're looking for here.
All well and good until one of them gets hurt.
Correct.
And then doesn't hit those projections. They will be probably counting on one of their young top prospects. Mason Wynn is going to be their shortstop. He's been in camp and getting some opportunities. So like some of the Padres, like Jackson Merrill, looking at some of the young guys as well to contribute with a mix of veterans. So some similarities between the Padres and Cardinals rosters going into the season.
Let's talk some food with Sammy Levitt, because Sammy Levitt, Sammy Spring Training, just joined us here, and I saw him the other night. Posted a picture. He was at Whataburger, and Sammy got dragged a little bit, as I do too, because of my love for Whataburger. Now, everyone always wants to say, why would you get Whataburger when you could get In-N-Out? It's like, why would you get Taco Bell when you can get a delicious local taco shop? It's a different flavor. It's a different thing.
Totally different.
Entirely. And now people forget about Spring Training Sammy. Guys spent some time in Amarillo, where
And
that's
Corpus Christi.
and Corpus Christi.
Home of Whataburger.
That's
Corpus Christi.
pretty much all you have to choose from. You have Whataburger, and then the other Whataburger that's across the street.
Corpus Christi was the home of Whataburger.
Yeah.
The home of the original Whataburger, and I was blessed to spend 2 years there. Plenty of Whataburgers in Amarillo. So Whataburger is good. In-N-Out's good.
Yeah,
I like both.
Delicious.
They're very, very different burgers. They have very different options. My favorite thing at Whataburger, to be totally honest, is not the burger. It is the chicken items.
Yes.
I don't remember what it's called. There's like a barbecue chicken sandwich
Delicious.
on Texas toast. It's
Yeah.
the best thing they have. Or the honey butter chicken biscuit.
chicken biscuit is
Yeah.
Woods
spectacular.
has expounded
I
on the
I
honey
like the
butter
burger
chicken
from
biscuit
In-N-Out
before.
better.
Well, it's better.
I do too. It's a
better
better
burger.
than Whataburger's burger. But Whataburger has some really good chicken items. It's all good.
You can also get In-N-Out in San Diego, where you cannot get
Yeah, and they have
Whataburger
plenty of
in
In-N-Outs
San
here.
Diego.
Exactly right.
So there
Exactly
is
right.
that just newness factor.
I've gone to some good places the last few days, last week or so.
Give us. Well, we need a lunch now. We're
a
kind of
lunch. Okay.
I heard something
Um,
about Chompy's New York Deli.
Chompy's?
Yeah.
I've never been.
So
There's 2 Italian restaurants that are good. There's one called the Sicilian Butcher,
I've
which you
been
may have
there.
heard
Yeah,
of.
the Ferris
Pretty
wheel
good.
of meatballs, right? That's the
Yeah, well, I've
Sicilian
never had
Butcher,
the
yeah.
I've never had the Ferris
I got
wheel.
the Ferris wheel of meatballs
By itself,
You gotta- yeah.
Bottega, the Italian restaurant. I've been to a couple of times. That's in a different area. I went to Culinary Dropout yesterday. That's a place in Scottsdale that was
Sounds
good. I mean,
edgy.
yeah, I mean, there are places that are farther away, but the Vig. I don't know if you've ever been there. That's
No.
right across from
Woods is
Sicilian
always
Butcher.
talking about the Vig.
Yeah, my Vig. I'm always paying the Vig
That's
every
a good
week.
place. I really try to get off of Bell and 83rd here
Yeah,
because then it's all chains and they're so busy.
always.
Like, good
busy.
luck for dinner on Bell here. It's tough.
Oh, we're
So,
trying to take the skipper to PF Chang's tomorrow night. So you
Oh,
think it's gonna be
nice.
We might need to
slammed?
call in our
I'm
tier
sure
one
it'll be
favor
busy.
to make sure we get a
We
table.
do have a guy that
We got a tier one PF Chang's manager who
That's true.
listens to
well,
the
I'm
show,
sure the
so.
Padres could pull some strings to
Maybe.
get you a table.
Yeah, that probably could
The
happen.
Padres have their own table at PF Chang's.
I
I
don't
don't
want to throw.
know.
I don't want to throw.
I know
their-
the
has to be-
Chargers are very connected.
There has
with
to
PF
be
Chang's,
somebody
but
in
I
this
haven't heard about
building
the Padres.
that has a connection.
I don't want to throw their weight around. You know what I mean? Hey, cover the Padres, cheerleaders for the Padres, as you know. Sammy, so what's on the agenda
Did somebody
today?
accuse you of being cheerleaders
Every
today?
day. It does. At this point, you're like, whatever, man. Who cares?
We are cheerleaders.
Yeah,
but
I
we're
mean,
also
excited.
not also loud critics, vocal critics of the
You're
Padres
fans.
as well.
I don't think that's any
We do
secret
both.
that you're fans.
It's part of the job. We do
I
both.
could
We
not-
criticize, we cheerlead, we do both.
I could not care
Constantly.
less anymore. I'm too tired. I'm too tired to deal with it. You're gonna go to the game?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
be
be
over there
there.
too.
You didn't go to Mesa yesterday.
I did.
Oh, you went all the way to Mesa.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah. I was happy I did. Good game.
Great
Jackson
game.
Merrill
Really good game.
was great. Azocar had a great game. Did you guys? I don't know if you played it today. Did you guys hear Merrill's comments after the game yesterday?
I saw the quotes. My goodness, that young man has a great deal of confidence.
He is oozing with
I
confidence.
own my at
It's fun.
My bat to ball skills
It's
are
fun.
very, very impressive. I mean, the kid
yeah.
does not lack for confidence.
I was happy I went just for those. Yeah, he oozes with confidence.
I said to him
And
this morning, I said, "Oh, you getting locked in?" He goes, "I've been locked in." I'm like, did not miss a
Well,
beat.
here, the funniest part of what he said yesterday was when Dennis asked him if he had heard what Fernando said about him on
Yeah.
ESPN, and he took a moment and he said, "Yeah, I heard it," and then he got asked more and went on. But I heard it was cool, calm, collected. He had some great lines at the end of that answer about silent respect in the clubhouse. He is oozing with confidence, and
He's 20.
yeah, if
Kid
he
is 20.
if he can play in the major leagues this season anywhere close to the quality of his quotes and his lines, it's going to be pretty good. So hey, you got to be confident. Like I don't view that as a bad thing
It's
at
not.
all. Got to be
But
confident.
Fear and arrogance, buddy.
you also have to be ready to deal with the inevitable failures.
Sure, absolutely.
As what did Mud say? There's two kinds
Absolutely.
of baseball players: the humble ones, the ones who are about to be humble.
Yeah, right.
So as long as he can maintain that confidence and cockiness without it becoming arrogance, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
Well, look, and I think with him in particular, assuming that he makes this opening day roster, which is no guarantee at this point, but I think with each passing day,
Feels more enough.
feels more likely. I would say it's going to be very important, not just for Jackson, obviously, but for us as well, to have some patience with him. Like if the Padres decide he's going to be in left field on opening day in Korea, on opening day at Petco Park, I mean, he's going to be 20 years old, hitting major league pitching with pretty limited experience at AA. So, you know, if there's struggles, I just think we're going to have to be really patient, and hopefully the Padres will be patient with him, because it might be a scenario where, hey, if he's not, you know, doing super well from the outset, like, you've got to let him work through that, even if that takes a while. So it's an interesting scenario, but look, it's hard to hear him talk and not come away really impressed and see the way he carries himself too.
Hey, kid, welcome to the big leagues. Your first game is going to be in Korea against Tyler Glasnow, and then your next game is going to be against Yamamoto, who's got 7 deadly pitches. Like, I mean, this is it, though. I mean, if this is what your career is going to be, get used to it, because there's no breaks anymore. I mean, you don't get the, hey, this team's got every guy out of every bullpen throws 97, 98 miles
But in
an hour.
addition to the swagger, he was also the first person
100%.
that we saw here this morning.
First person here. Yeah.
Jake said, locker's next to mine. He handles himself very, very well in the clubhouse. Feels like he belongs there. Respectful, though.
What's been there's been a common theme, and you hear it from baseball players all the time. The way he
carries himself.
Way he goes about his business. Goes about his business. Classic baseball line.
Goes about his business.
And trust me, everybody's watching all these kids to see how they go about their
I mean, he gets it, too. What was the quote when asked him? I'd sleep here if I could. I love working, loving do it. Take that in contrast. I think Hannah pointed out. Take that in contrast to Anthony Rendon.
Correct.
Who says, I wish we played less games.
Yeah.
There's just so much time.
The game's
I don't
too
care
long.
what you think. Say what Jackson Merrill says.
Say that.
Well, and I don't know if you saw the first part of what he said after the game yesterday, but he looked kind of annoyed that it had taken the Padres 4 games to win a spring training game. Like, that was the first thing he said. So,
like, about time.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but go back and watch it. So, look, he says all the right things. Everybody else is saying the right things about him. It's going to be really interesting, because it's certainly a tall order at 20 years old with as limited of AA experience as he has to be thrust into an opening day situation. But he's a lot of fun to watch. And I'll tell you, I was noticing one thing he did yesterday. Like, he was DHing, so he wasn't out in the field. And when his teammates would come in from playing defense, he would go from one end of the dugout by kind of where the managers are, one set of stairs, and went all the way over to the other and is right by the top step high-fiving guys. Like, that part of things, it really seems like he gets. And I do wonder how just having some really young, hungry players with something to prove may affect this team as a whole in a good way.
100%.
We'll see.
Very much a real looking lineup today against the Guardians. One you could envision perhaps even being the opening day lineup for the Padres. Looking forward to seeing Michael King get his first action. He's scheduled to come in after Joe Musgrove. He's thrown on the backfields, obviously, but get his first look in a spring training game for the Padres today.
Yeah, look, everybody's, talked about his stuff. His stuff has looked really good on the backfields. Obviously, you come away really impressed when you talk to him. I think the most interesting thing for me with King so far is just the goals he set for himself. Yeah. I mean, he's been very blunt about saying he wants to hit 180 innings this season. And he told me he's not a real big goal person of like, hey, let me set something and let's go achieve it like a number. But he has gone out of his way to say 180. It's a lot of innings for somebody who is going to be a starter for the first time, on a, every 5-day basis. So good for him. If he stays healthy and he's effective, he can do it. That's a high number, but look, everything with him, again, has been really, really positive.
I'm also not a goal-oriented person.
Yeah, I know.
Are you a goal-oriented person? I'm more about the process and just letting it play out. You actually have benchmarks you want to achieve.
100%.
I feel like so much of that is out of your control sometimes, though.
What's
just do
the next
what you
one?
can. Yeah, what's the next goal?
Is it
for Woods?
Oh, for me personally?
Yeah, or us, the show. What's next then?
I'd like to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers.
Oh,
See, you have like
Wow.
numerical,
Yeah.
reachable, tangible
Yeah.
goals.
Paulie thinks it's out of it's a little bit high, but I think we can do it. Go subscribe.
10, well, what are you at now?
YouTube 4.6. Yeah, we can get there.
You want to double it?
Oh, I think you'll get
we thought
there.
being the number one show is probably not a attainable goal, and then we attained it. So
And keep attaining it. So that's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. So
I'm a very introspective person.
yeah, but I don't want to be frustrated if I don't reach the goals. I feel like if you're doing things right, the process is going well. If you haven't achieved some arbitrary number, that doesn't mean you're a failure. So I feel
No,
like
but you
setting
learn-
goals
you
can
learn-
be dangerous that way.
Setting goals is never dangerous. Never. it's never a bad thing to set.
I mean,
goals
if Michael
for
King doesn't get to 180 innings, but has a great season with 160,
he'll learn what he did to not get to 180. You know what I mean?
Can I
Change
make
things.
an observation about Stephen Woods? You're a popular guy.
Oh.
People like you.
Oh, or they hate me. It's one of the two.
But people
There's no
around
middle ground.
here,
sometimes
people kind of gravitate
Little both.
towards you.
There's no middle ground.
You're sort of the Brett Sullivan of this complex, because I'll tell you, Brett Sullivan walks in a clubhouse. I've never seen anything like
Really?
it. Guys
That's
gravitate
amazing.
towards him.
That's great.
Yes, the way he talks to guys.
Can we hold this story
Hold
for
this. I
tomorrow?
wanna
The
do that
show is
tomorrow.
ending.
That's
I had no idea that Brett Sullivan was so
and I've never talked to Brett about this, but
I'm fascinated.
when he
Now, we
made
need
his
to get Brett
debut, I'd
Sullivan on
never
the
seen
air.
anything like it.
Sammy Levitt. We got Andy and Elston coming up next. We'll be back here more tomorrow at 6 a.m. Thanks for joining us from Padres Spring Training. For Frank, for Paul, for Woodsy, I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long.